Hey everybody, GameHounds, we are here. How are you? We got two people already in the chat room. Hey, so I don't know who they are, can't see, but we're back for the first time in how long? Forever? Well, no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks has been.
Like years, decades.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us for the first time, this is GameHounds Podcast. We're in the pre-show of our actual podcast. We haven't started it yet, but we like to do a little pre-show just to see how everybody's doing in the chat room. We got AC Wraith here, of course. Thank you very much, AC Wraith. He is our link bitch. We got Bitters in the chat room. Hey, how are you? So I will share with you, since we are the audio show, I will share with you our some photos if I can. Well, a photo. First off, I was gone for 2 weeks. The first week, I went up to the mountains because it was Kevin's death anniversary. I did not want to take any phone calls from anyone. And I knew if I stayed home, people would be dropping by, people would be making phone calls, I didn't want to do that at all. So I took the dogs to the mountains. We had a great time. It was a little cabin in the middle of fucking nowhere. And Mia had a great time. Buddy had a really good time. And then we got back and we were going to, have a show the next Sunday, and then there was a family thing that I had forgotten about. It is an annual thing, and I totally forgot because of the death anniversary was kind of overtaking all other thoughts. So I realized, oh shit, I'm actually going to be out 2 weeks, not 1 week. So we did. In fact, I think hopefully you saw it on last week. The little notification, I put it out there. I actually made sure it went out on the correct day to say, hey, I'm not there. I was down at the family ranch. So yeah. Thank you very much, AC Wraith, for reminding me. Patreon.com/GameHounds. We are 100% funded by our patrons. Thank you so much. If you would like to be one, we only ask for $1 a month. We're not looking for $20. We're not looking for a lot of money. Nick and I have jobs. We don't need to make our living doing this. All we want to do is offset the costs of making this happen. So that's all you need to do. $1 a month. It's 25 cents a show for like 5 hours a show. That's pretty good. It's like 5 cents an hour. Split it between us, we make 2.5 cents an hour. So thank you for reminding me of that. AC Ray says, your hair looks cool, Edie. Did you do something to it? No. Washed it. It's drying really shiny, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's drying so shiny. I didn't do anything. It's the same shampoo, same conditioner I've always used. I have no idea. It's just the way it happens sometimes. Let's see. AC Ray says, fortunately, I got over a respiratory illness and then pirated a bunch of show episodes and movies. Fortunately, it wasn't COVID. I had my 6-month checkup and had to be tested before going in. Got it. So, did I say AC Wraith for something that Bitters said? Did I say Bitters?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry. Did I not give credit properly? Which one? I see Bitters here. There, Bitters says, hey.
Oh, you
Bitters
said...
says, oh, did I say AC Wraith said that? Yes. Bitters said that. Thank you, Bitters. So, and AC Wraith vehemently denies that he said anything nice about my hair. Thanks, asshole. So, we've got all our stuff together. Do we want to start a show?
Yes, I'm getting videos ready.
Okay, that'd be good. I have no videos ready. Oh, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. I should get videos ready. Let me do that. Yeah, you got to set this stuff up early, because if you don't, then it kind of it's one of those weird things that happens with no, what about, there we go. It's kind of weird. It happens with StreamYard, is that the first time you put it in on YouTube, it won't. If you go to full screen, it doesn't take over your whole screen. It actually only goes full screen in the window. But you have to have StreamYard going first for that to happen. Otherwise, it does actually fill your whole desktop, which is a problem. Bitter says me and AC are the same dude. Conspiracy theory. I know. And you're the Illuminati together. So, yeah, you want to start the show?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this going. Check.
Check. I got one cat on this chair next to me. The other cat seems to be wandering around, not sure what to do.
Good. All right. So, just so you know, under the new way that we're doing it, when I say mics are hot, I'll still say it, but mics have been hot the whole time. I can't unhot the mics.
Okay. So I can start talking when you say mics are hot.
Please do not, because it will mean that I will have to edit it. I will edit it out. I just have to do it. You're just costing me time.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's start the show. First, I have to find the music. There we go. Ready?
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 647. We are recording this on Sunday, July 31st, 2022, the last day of July, officially crossing over into the, third? Third. No, anyway, we're heading into August. I'm Edie Sellers, and with me is Nick DiNicola. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, I'm good.
So we are back from everything. I'm sorry that we were off for 2 weeks instead of one. If you're listening to the audio show, you didn't know that we were going to be off for 2 weeks. That's just the way it happened. It was unfortunate, not the way I wanted it to be. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Not the way I wanted it to be. I realized when I got back from being in the mountains, where I was for Kevin's death anniversary, so no one could contact me. I realized I had a prior commitment to my family to do a family thing. So I had to be away for 2 weekends. And normally I would have just broadcasted from the ranch, because I can now. They have Starlink, by the way, at the ranch.
Oh.
It works really good. I worked from the ranch for 2 days.
Mm.
So I did
don't
videos.
Say that. Don't give Elon Musk credit for something.
Starlink works. They have been trying to get internet down there for at least 15 years, like good internet. And they signed up for Starlink, and it was instantly working great. So he makes good cars, and the Starlink works. Got to give him credit for where it's due.
No, I don't.
But yeah, I could have done it, but the responsibility I had was, or the commitment that I had was actually on Sunday during the show. So I couldn't go, couldn't do it. So how have you been for 2 weeks off, Nick?
Good. I've been, what have I been doing the past several weeks? Just taking advantage of not doing a podcast and playing games.
Good. Well, why don't I hit it then? What games did you play?
I played nothing but Elden Ring.
Really?
No.
Okay,
I
good.
actually
Good.
didn't touch Elden Ring.
I was going to say,
because-
I would be more impressed if you had touched Elden Ring and then you played other games, because you and I both know you kind of have an Elden Ring addiction.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want to go back to it. What's making it even harder is Waypoint, the gaming Vice channel. One of the people there, Patrick Klepek, he played a lot of Elden Ring, kind of fell off it, and on Thursday or Friday did like an all-day stream of him playing it and getting back into it. And so as I was working, I just kind of had that on in the background going, I remember that place. I remember that place. Oh, wait, he found something I didn't.
Oh, and that makes you want to turn it on and go find
now
it, right?
I got to go back.
I got to go back.
Yep. But have not gone back. And instead, I played a whole bunch of freebies and a whole bunch of indie games, mainly. One of which you definitely would enjoy. The Forgotten City is on Game Pass, and it is a really, really cool time loop mystery game. Basically, you are someone who like wakes up at the edge of a river, and there's a woman there that says, hey, go check out this well, go check out this cave. And when you go in there, you kind of fall down this bathhouse and appear in this like Roman city.
Oh, wow.
And you don't show people too much. This is good because this is the very beginning.
Right.
But basically, you have this kind of open world, this little city, and there's like 20 characters in it, and you are told that someone in this city is going to sin. And the way the city is governed by the golden rule, which is if anybody sins, everyone will die.
Oh.
And you get told that today somebody is going to sin. You have to figure out who it is. And there's a time loop mechanic so that when things do go wrong, you can like run back to the entrance, travel back a day, and start over. And so what you got to do is just go around and talk to people and just kind of figure out what their story is. And of course, everyone has different problems, and everyone, you're trying to solve everyone's problems. But the way the game is designed is so cool because the quests are basically like find out this piece of information or find this item. So, for example, someone's poisoned. You talk to them, you kind of go through the whole quest line to find the antidote. But by that point, the person's dead. And it's like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? You can activate the loop by just stealing something from someone. So if you get to a point where, oh, I want to start the day over, well, you know what? I'm just going to go steal some money. And that will like kind of activate the time loop. What's cool though is you keep all the stuff that you retain. So once I find that antidote, once I find the item at the end of a quest, I don't have to keep repeating that quest over and over again. Just from the very beginning, I can give the person the antidote and that quest is solved, and I can kind of continue with the game from there. So even though you're constantly redoing the same day over and over again, you're not forced to redo the same quests over and over again. You're not forced to redo the same events over.
You don't have to do a Groundhog Day where you're just doing the same things over and over and over and over and over until you get to the right combination.
Yeah. And what's especially cool is the guy you saw in the beginning. He's got a bald head and he's kind of guiding you through the city. When a loop starts over, you can tell him, hey, I don't need the tour, right? I've been here before. And he's just like, I don't understand, but whatever. I can roll with this. You can tell him, hey, this person's this person's poisoned. I have the antidote. Go give it to them. And
Oh,
so he can go complete the quest for you while you go off and do other things. And it gets kind of funny because as you get further and further into the game, you start giving him a big list of things to do. Hey, go do this, 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 go do this. And it's
so
like,
he becomes your assistant,
okay.
essentially.
He does, but what's funny is the way the game is written, it acknowledges that he's the one doing these things, not you. And so people start liking him because, hey, he's going around helping everybody. And he's getting credit for that. And the game acknowledges that.
Oh, that's funny.
but-
AC Wraith says in the chat room, Nick likes his first-person time loop games. At least, this is at least the third.
So last year, there were a bunch of time loop games. And I tried to play most of them. Some were better than others. But I think Outer Wilds was a time loop game. It was fantastic. Deathloop was a time loop game. It was pretty good. This is a really good time loop game.
Yeah, I'm totally down for this. This exposition screen looks like forever. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So what's also cool about the fact that you retain things is, I'm rummaging through people's stuff, and because it's based on a Skyrim mod, it's kind of got all the Skyrim controls. And so if you're going to steal something, you can see it in red. And if you're not stealing it, it's gray. So if you're rummaging through something and you see, 5 coins in red, well, if I take that, it'll be counted as stealing. But then if you're rummaging around a rich person's house and you see 3,000 coins, well, you know what? I'm just going to steal these, trigger the loop, start things over, and then I've got 3,000 coins.
Right.
And then I'm rich. And you can actually do that because some people will charge you a lot of money for information. So that actually becomes something like a system that you can take.
It becomes something you have to have. It becomes an inventory item. It just happens to be cash. Except
there are other ways around that too. Because you can talk to people and get on their bad side, and they're like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Screw off. And then you realize, okay, I have to start the loop over so that they forget who I am. And within all this, everyone has their own quest that you're trying to do. But what's crazy is the game, it takes some turns. You're trying to ultimately solve the mystery of what is this city, right? Where are you? And it has some really good, interesting mysteries at its core about it's this kind of weird combination. There's a lot of Romans, but there's also some Greeks. And then there's an Egyptian guy in there too. And you see hints of other cultures all around, there's an Egyptian symbol over there. What is going on? And the game incorporates all of that into its story, all of that into what's going on, the truth of the city. But even then, once you get the truth of the city, there's another extra twist. I was playing it in the living room and I walked through a door and my first words were, what the fuck? Because it takes a turn and it's really cool.
Excellent. A really well-written, open-world-ish game. It's a time loop. I'm totally down for this. I'm totally down for this. Bitter says game of the week, Nick. That sounds like something I would enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And if you have Game Pass, it is on there, so there's no overhead.
Yeah. And it's free if you have Game Pass, which is even better.
Highly recommend it. I wish I could talk more about the directions it goes. I can't wait for you to play it and then text me holy shit. Okay. I want to see that reaction.
We will have that sometime this week. So any other games?
A whole bunch.
Okay.
I played the Salt and series, I guess you could call it. Salt and Sanctuary and Salt and Sacrifice. Salt and Sanctuary is the first one. And I had bought this years ago and kind of never got around to playing it. I remember it was one of the first 2D Souls-like games that came out.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think it was one of the first Souls-like games that came out. And I think you can kind of feel that because there's a lot about it that feels a little clunky. The combat's really cool, and I enjoy minute to minute of playing it. But the way you upgrade is there's like a sphere grid. I don't know if you played Final Fantasy X, but you don't just drop points into a stat to upgrade. You have a grid, and on that grid there are a bunch of nodes going in, every which direction. Each of those nodes represents, one is strength, one's endurance, one's stamina, one's like you can use great swords, one's you can use bow and arrows, that type of thing. And so what that means is you can't just increase any stat at any time. Like you have to follow the grid.
Right.
So if I put a point into endurance, what's around there, I have to do something like that. And what that means is you kind of get locked into a character build really early on, because if you start going down the strength path, then if you want to do some magic, that requires starting from zero and going down a completely different path. And that's just kind of feels like a waste.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a little disappointing and a little frustrating of, I want to upgrade these things, but I can't. And then what ultimately made me want to stop playing is that just the nature of being a 2D world. I feel like you have less spatial awareness than in a 3D world, because with a 3D world, you can see pretty far ahead. You can look behind your character, like you can see in the distance what is coming up. You can't do that with a 2D place, right? You're kind of locked into following
Okay,
your character.
there's the
There's the grid.
Yeah. And so you're locked into going a particular path.
But also, since you kind of get locked into a path, I want to choose the right path. So I want to look ahead. And that means taking this little tiny window and trying to like scroll all around.
Right.
And
I can see how that would be really annoying.
Yeah. And I feel like the whole game is like that by nature of being a 2D thing, where you have this big open world, but your window into that world is so tiny. And so I'm like exploring, and there's no map. That's the frustrating part.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I'm navigating around, trying to find, and then I hit a boss, and I die, and I go back, and I have to think, well, what was the path that I took to get over there? Like, did I go up this way? Did I go over in the middle? Did I go over in the top? Like, what was the exact path I took?
That almost penalizes you for losing to a boss.
Yeah.
Because you can't possibly remember how to get there.
And I felt like there were too few checkpoints, because, whenever you die, you go back to a bonfire equivalent, a checkpoint. And I just felt like there were too few of those. And so that's why I kept getting lost, because I would start over the checkpoint, not know how to get back to where I was. And yeah, it's like if they just put a few more checkpoints everywhere, I felt like I could have been a much more navigable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thankfully, the sequel, Salt and Sacrifice, I think does that a little better, because the world that you're exploring is much smaller. In Sanctuary, you just have a huge open world that's all connected. In Sacrifice, you go into smaller areas. It's like, this is one area, then I'm going to travel back to a hub, go to another area, travel back to the hub, go to another area. They're much more discrete levels. Even within those discrete levels, like they're still pretty big, but they're not too big. And there are way, way more checkpoints scattered all throughout these smaller levels. So it's way easier to just explore, die, go back to where you were, keep exploring, die, keep exploring, die. The whole world just feels way more navigable. And that's important because the way the game is structured is very, very different, where you're not just exploring looking for bosses. You are kind of going around the world, And then you'll find evidence of a mage. Like the way the story works in Sacrifice is you're like a prisoner and you've been cast into this area that's being kind of plagued by mages. And so you have to hunt the mages. To do that, you explore until you find evidence of a mage. And that's just like a little interactive thing on the ground. But when you find it, you trigger a mage hunt, which is basically a mage appears somewhere in the level, and you get a little arrow that kind of points in their direction to say where it is. I can share my screen with you to kind of show what that looks like. Let me do this. Wait.
This is why you prepare your stuff early, Nick.
No, I did. Where's the... Oh, okay.
That's why you don't have all your tabs open, Nick.
No, you want all the tabs open because those are all the news stories.
No, you just take those news stories. You take capsules and you put it into a document. That's what I do.
Nah.
I do work for this show.
Okay. Do you see him? So you're exploring and you find this evidence of a mage and you start a hunt. And what that means is you get like this, huge glowing thing that points you in the direction of the mage. And when you find him, it's kind of like this big battle royale where he's there spawning enemies of his, but he also fights enemies that are in the world. And if you do enough damage, then he kind of disappears and runs away. And you have to chase him down. And so this continues on and on. But what's nice about it is, as you're chasing this mage, if you if you get messed up, like, oh, I tried to fight him and he did a lot of damage, you can stop at any of the checkpoints, heal yourself back up, and yes, that will reset all of the enemies in the world, but that's actually a good thing because those enemies will also fight the mage. So it's like these very step-by-step process. You've got to hunt the mage down. You're trying to find him, but you don't have to do it all in one life.
Right.
So it's very forgiving in that way, where if you have a particular bout with this mage and he messes you up, run back, hit the checkpoint, and you can kind of keep doing the mage hunt from where you left off. Like, that doesn't reset. Eventually, the mage will get to a dead end, and you will actually corner him, and you get into more of a classic boss fight. But he'll still be hurt from all the chasing that you did. So it's like, okay, if you reset at a checkpoint, he will get his health back. So it's like, if you can do the whole mage hunt in a single life, you're rewarded for that, because when you get to the boss fight, he's at half health.
Right.
But if you can't, then hey, you just do a traditional boss fight. Like, there's no real punishment for that. So you're only rewarded. And that's really cool. So you've got like this really cool boss system that's going on. The world is way more navigable than in Sanctuary. But I still feel like everything in this game is harder and more confusing than it needs to be. It took me a long time to understand how to upgrade equipment. And when I realized what you do, it's actually more Monster Hunter-esque than Souls-esque, where you have a piece of armor. I get fire armor. That's weak against ice, right? So I'm going to go hunt an ice mage. Oh, but you know what? I want an armor that's not fire because that's weak. If I want something that's different, I have to hunt that mage for the materials to do it. If I want to get ice armor, I have to first kill the ice mage, then kill him again to get more items and crafting material to craft all this stuff. If I want to upgrade the ice armor, I have to go back and hunt that mage again and again.
Wow.
And again.
I
If
see.
I want fire armor, I gotta grind out that particular boss over and over again to level up his armor. And that's just a lot of grinding.
It's a lot of grinding.
Yeah. And that's what ultimately made me give up on the game, is just that's once I realized how much grinding it expected me to do, I thought, I just want to put points into defense and have that be it.
Yep. Anything else?
Yes, but did you play anything? I don't want to like monologue for too long.
Just that. We've already had enough. I played last night. The shit show has gotten even shittier.
Yeah, I know you were trying to kill your children.
No. This was I died and I left an 11-year-old girl on the throne. It was just a shit show of trying to disinherit people fast enough and failed. Came in, and that was on Saturday, so it was yesterday. It was, I kid you not, 2 full hours of nothing but wars. I would finish up one, I would be like, I'd have like 3 wars going. And I'd get down one war and another one would be called by somebody else on me. It was just nothing but defensive wars the whole time. And I survived.
Nicely done.
But
hey, that 11-year-old getting trial by fire.
Right. She did. Yeah, she started at 11 and she was 20 when we finally finished the last war. When she finally had peace in her country.
Almost half her life at war.
Yeah. It was definitely a very steep learning curve for her to be queen. She is still queen, and we are in the process of capturing some territory for a temple, I think it is. Yeah, we're capturing a temple or a mine. I can't remember. One of the two. And we're trying to get a really good son to hand this off to. And yeah, so it was a lot of grinding, but we got there. So that's my, if you want to follow what's going on, I do this like Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's kind of becoming a thing where I actually stream a show. Backseat driving, absolutely allowed. I would love to have you backseat driving on this. AC Wraith is almost always there, bless his heart. A few people do drop in. I've seen a couple of new people, which is kind of neat. But if you guys want to backseat drive me right into the ground, I'm happy to do that. The goal is right now to take over the Pope, like the papacy and become essentially the Pope of my own religion that is in Rome.
Miss
But
Pope.
we will see. Well, I don't think it's going to happen when a girl's on the throne. I don't think it's not going to happen that way. But her grandson, maybe will be the Pope, the Pope. So yeah, feel free to join us. It's on Twitch. If you see the stream right below us right now, that address on Twitch right there. Yeah, that's where I play, is on Twitch, because it's just easier to stream on Twitch. All right, so your next game?
I played Bug Snacks, which is, I was looking for videos on YouTube and I found one that said that described the game as a psychological horror game for kids, which feels surprisingly accurate, weirdly accurate. It's very cartoony. And it almost looks like a kid's game at first because it's very colorful and you play as these kind of Muppet-esque monsters. And you're hunting down, it's kind of Pokemon-esque in that you're trying to catch these various food bugs, these bug snacks. And they're called bug snacks because they're all kind of modeled and shaped after food. Mm-hmm. So right now you're looking at a Cheeto with wings. And he's trying to find a way to knock this Cheeto with wings out of the sky so he can capture it. There's like hamburgers with feet that will crawl around and bump you. There are spider-esque French fries that will crawl along the ceilings. Mm-hmm. There's a sandwich sub that's like a sandwich sub made up of other subs. So like it's almost a centipede, but each one is a different sub sandwich. You've got, little popcorns in order to So, like, as an example, right here, he's got like this little popcorn creature that's jumping around. He could try to capture it, but it's too small. So what you end up having to do is find a way to set it on fire, which will make the kernel pop,
Oh, pop. I
and then it will
see.
be big enough that you can actually capture it. And the whole game is like kind of filled with these food related puns and puzzles where, hey, this, the hamburger likes ketchup. So how can you use that to your advantage to stun it long enough that you can then go and capture it? And, you end up getting like ranch dressing, you get chocolate, you get peanut butter. There's like a ice mountain that's full of desserts. There's a desert that's full of spicy food. And the whole game is kind of centered around trying to figure out the puzzles around these bug snacks. Where the psychological horror part comes in is that when you go back to town and you start talking with the other Muppet-esque monsters, they're always asking you for bug snacks. They want these bugs. When they eat one, their limbs turn into that food. So if I eat a hamburger, my arm will then turn into a burger. If I eat a French fry, my leg turns into a French fry.
Oh my.
If I eat a pineapple, my hair will become like the pineapple fur. And so when you look at some of these monsters in the middle of the game, they've got these limbs that like, oh, here's some popcorn, here's an ice cream cone, here's
They
a
made it come
sandwich
like a
cone.
chimera, a nightmare chimera of other animals that have their food.
But they say they feel fine. They're just like, they just kind of continue going along the day as if
you are what you
nothing's
eat.
changed. Literally.
Yeah.
But you were called to this town by a kind of famous adventurer. When you get to this town, she's missing and everyone has left. Like the whole town is kind of split apart. And so as you go to different areas, you need to find the people and convince them to come back to town. Like Forgotten City, all of these people have their own issues going on that involve their own side quests. But a lot of it ends up becoming like marriage counselor simulator where you've got like a farmer and an anthropologist that are married, but she's like, he just wants to farm. I want to go out and explore. And it's like, oh, I want to go out into the world to do things. He just wants to stay at home. How do we reconcile this? And as you watch videos, like the characters that are depressed, that are like, oh, I feel so useless. Everyone else on this island has a job. I can't do anything. I can't hunt bug snacks. And like, how do you help someone that's like that down on themselves? And it becomes like, it delves into weirdly serious issues for such a cartoony, lighthearted game. Because at no point does it ever get really dark. Like, it still retains a very light, fluffy tone throughout it all. Even has the characters are like, oh, I'm a failure. You can't trust me. I'll only bring you down. It's like, no, you have to find a way to help them, and eventually they'll change. But what's neat is all the characters are very, very different. And so even though the game kind of keeps adding new people, their personalities are always so different that you're never going to get them confused with each other. And I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm like 5 minutes from the end, but at that point, I unlocked the DLC, which I didn't actually know I had, but it basically opened a whole new island to explore. And so I kind of want to jump into that before I finish the game.
Good.
But yeah, it's a very cute, fun puzzle game.
Sounds awesome. Sounds like not my kind of game, though.
I think you might end up, if you ever did play it, I think you would like it way more than you think you would.
Yeah, there's an element of it that is like Viva Pinata, and I liked the fuck out of Viva Pinata. I played the hell out of that game. I also played the hell out of Minecraft, but yeah, I can say it. All right.
Yeah.
So anything else before we hit the news?
Just those 4 games in the past.
All right.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. All right, let's hit the news. Oh, wrong one. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is...
I give it to you. I've been talking for like the past hour.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You kind of have.
I've been yapping.
And that's fine. All right. So, let's see. My first item is... let's see. What's a good one? So let's talk Meta, aka Facebook, formerly known as Facebook. So the big news this week with them is that there was an expose in I forget where it was. It was in Eurogamer that says that Reality Labs has lost $2.8 billion on the Oculus VR headset. The Reality Labs is essentially the VR headset and the metaverse and all of that. In the last 3 months, they have lost $2.8 billion. That is almost $1 billion a month for the last 3 months. For a company that they spent $2 billion to buy.
Yeah. When did they change their name to Meta?
Like a day after Zuckerberg ended up being in front of the Senate, his Senate hearings.
Was that this year though?
Maybe this year. I actually think it was
okay.
2021. No,
okay.
yes. Yeah, 2021. So it was last year.
I feel like it was 3 months ago.
It was within a year, but it is last year.
Okay.
So yeah. According to insiders, the revenue during the last 3 months saw a 48% increase to $452 million, which the CFO of the Reality Labs has attributed to the sales of the Meta Quest 2, essentially Oculus 2, Oculus Quest 2.
That is, for all intents and purposes, a good headset that is selling very well.
Right. They saw a 48% increase in sales on the headset, but that doesn't offset the costs and investments that Meta has put into Reality Labs, especially in the last three months. They also hiked the price of the Meta 2, and that is not doing, or the Quest 2, that's not going over well. They increased the price by $100, and I don't think it wasn't the cheapest headset, but it was the most.
I mean, it was affordable. It was
affordable.
Yeah, it's $300, which for a VR headset is pretty good.
Yeah,
because I think it's also wireless, and those were the big features. And it was from the beginning. It was designed to be a good enough headset, right? The kind of thing that you sell at a loss to get people interested in VR so that when you come out with your next one that's higher quality, they want to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But apparently they lost too much on it and decided, let's stem the bleeding.
Well, on that note, and I was wrong. It wasn't an expose. It was a report of an investor call. So this is coming from Meta. The CEO was asked, given the amount of money that they have lost on this in the last 3 months, are they going to continue to invest in this? And his answer was, we do plan on continuing to invest in Reality Labs. And in terms of our expense growth from 2021 to 2022, the largest component of the expense growth is family of apps. But we do think that Reality Labs will continue to be an investment area for us. So they are not deterred by the $3 billion cost in 3 months.
I would think not, considering he pivoted his entire company in that direction.
Opinion requested.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is the right direction for him to be pivoting?
Oh God, no. The moment he changed the name, that's like the slow downfall of Facebook. I mean, I get why you want to change the name, because the name became so toxic, like after that Senate hearing. And then Apple came out with a new privacy thing, like, ask app not to track, and that cut into their revenue by like another $10 billion or something like that. So like since they can't invade people's privacy and sell your information anymore, and their name is being dragged through the mud, what do? I guess Zuckerberg really likes VR and wanted to make it the cornerstone of his business, but I don't think the rest of the world likes VR in the same way he does.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Look,
he does not get it that we don't want VR. We don't want VR for the things that he's doing VR for.
I've said it before. When PlayStation comes out with their PSVR 2, I will buy it as soon as I can, because I think it's really cool and I want to play games in it.
Right.
But that's all I want to do.
Right.
I don't want a metaverse. I think it's stupid.
No. I think that it's the worst of, it's two really bad ideas put together. Mm-hmm. VR socializing and was it PlayStation Home?
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, does he not know what happened with PlayStation? It was not good. It was really not good.
It's like when all these people talk about the metaverse, they imagine something like, Ready Player One, or, some other, what's that classic cyberpunk novel? William Gibson did it. He coined the term cyberverse or cyberspace.
Yes.
Neuromancer.
Yes.
They think like Neuromancer and Ready Player One. But when you make a metaverse, it turns into Second Life. Yeah. And none of these business people want to make Second Life.
It turns into toxic dick pics. It turns into like VR Uno.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to build this fictional company when you already have real world examples of people won't use it like they do in the movies or books. Also, important to note, all of those movies and books, they're all dystopian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The
Is that really what you want?
It's like they're banking on the fact that, the real world will become so horrible that people want to spend their life in our metaverse.
So speaking of which, I'm going to hit two of my stories all together.
Okay.
You said that starting from the moment that Meta changed its name, things started to go wrong with it. Or I should say Facebook changed its name. Well, there is an art company called Meta that is suing Meta for Meta. And they are not happy at all. So this is an installation art company called Meta, or Meta IS, out of Iceland. And it announced last week that it's going to be suing Meta, or Facebook, for trademark violation alleging that Mark Zuckerberg's name change violated the smaller company's established brand. So this company has been around for a really long time. In fact, The Verge partnered with them for art installations in 2016. So they've been around for a while. And Meta.is does hold a valid trademark for the name. But everybody says it's still going to be facing an uphill battle in court because of the broad range of trademark applications. You're talking about you're going after Facebook with an unlimited amount of money to do it. It just it signals to me that Mark Zuckerberg, in a panic about what happened in the Senate hearings, made up the name and just ran with it. Like, he just unilaterally said, we're changing the name, and just like I think that you will eventually find out at some point that he didn't tell anybody that he was doing it. He just decided on his own in his hotel room that he decided he was going to change the name.
I could believe that.
He unilaterally just said, we changed the name to Meta. Because that's the first thing you do when you're changing a name to something. You check the copyrights and make sure that you're not going like taking somebody else's trademark name. So,
Yeah, it feels a lot of the guy who kind of has an outside influence in the company making unilateral decisions that other people know this is not going to go well, but we can't stop him.
So Meta, the art installation company, the original Meta, put out in their statement on October 28th, 2021, Facebook seized our Meta mark and name, which we put our blood, sweat, and tears into building over 12 years. Today, after 8 months of trying to negotiate with Facebook, they call it Facebook, in good faith to no avail, we are left with no choice but to file a lawsuit against them. So on top of that, Meta would have probably been okay if they'd have just worked with them. But Facebook's like, nah, we're Meta now. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Facebook. There's a reason why I don't go on there at all anymore. And I was a hourly user of Facebook for a really long time. I don't go on there anymore. So AC Wraith writes in the chat, I imagine it's going to be a question of how close the businesses are. It's VR versus digital art installations. Yeah, well, that's true. It's whether someone could mistake one company for another. But
except if Facebook Meta wants the metaverse to be this all-encompassing thing, that includes art installations. Exactly. There have already been news stories about NFT art installations in the metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as he said that we're taking the name Meta, I knew that was a really, really, really bad idea. That's like taking I decided to copyright air. I'm just going to say that's mine now. And everybody that wants to use air has to pay me.
Yeah, it's a fairly common word, and especially it's a techie word, so
right. I can't believe that the trademark office allowed it for that. I mean, even at the beginning, Meta is such a it's a thing. So anyway,
I mean they've allowed Windows and Apple, and
it's a
common words like that.
True, but it's not. Well, yeah, I guess so. But it was not offensive until Facebook came in and made itself Meta. It just smacks of such hubris, such arrogance. We're Meta now, which means we're everything. Fuck you. Sorry, I hate Facebook. It's not perfectly clear. So, all right, those are me for my items.
Okay.
I mean, I have other items, but I'll let you go.
Yeah. Well, continuing down the troubled company route.
That's pretty much what this show is all about, the troubled company route.
Oh, yeah. So Unity has hit some really tough times. They've had an earnings report where they're not earning as much as they wanted to, and they laid off a bunch of people. But they
went public last year, right?
A couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember they went public. It was a big deal that they had gone public.
Yeah. And where was it? What am I doing? Okay. So they laid off a bunch of people, but as they were doing that, they also bought another company. So, they have enough money for acquisitions, but not enough money to pay employees. They bought an ad company, an ad tech firm called Iron Source. And it's basically, hey, we provide a way for people to do mobile ads. So this stoked a lot of fear in people that use Unity that the Unity game engine will like have some sort of integrated ad component, which could trigger like a lot of issues when you're trying to get certification for like Nintendo and the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, Steam. Steam has a lot of, if you have something that will trigger ad pop-ups in your game engine, Steam might see that as some sort of DRM and not allow your game or just block your game.
There's your stock price.
Yes. They came out of the gate really strong, but they've been having some issues over the past year.
Yeah, to say the least.
I mean, I get it.
Actually, where they had them, they started to really have the issues is like right about there, mid-March, about April.
And that's last year, right?
It is all time. So this is from day one, from their IPO, all the way up to down here. So,
oh no, that's April of this year.
Yeah, that's April of this year. Yeah.
Okay.
April 10th, 2022.
Like, it's not. They were talking about this on Waypoint, and so I'm going to repeat some stuff I heard there because I think they brought up a lot of good points. That Unity was a really ubiquitous engine for indie developers. Then Unreal came along and made itself easier for indie developers to use,
right?
Which ate into a lot of Unity's business model. Then Unity got into film studios because, like, the whole Star Wars. Have you seen like behind the scenes of how they shot The Mandalorian with like basically what that show did is it has something, I forget the name of it, but it's called The Wall. And it's basically this giant like half dome LED screen that will project a background onto it. And it's made with a game engine with Unreal. Unreal is like used to put up what's on the background, and you can kind of change the focal of the stuff on there. So basically, you have a guy on a stage, you film him with that background, and you don't have to do CG, right? Because the screen is providing the fantasy background already. So you don't have to worry about going in and changing the lighting in post-production because this thing is already, the LED screen is already providing the lighting, providing the background. And it just kind of makes for a more naturalistic look in a lot of sci-fi fantasy stuff.
Yeah, there it is. There's the wall.
It's governed by Unreal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that whole like software behind this technology is Unreal. And that has done a lot of good for Epic. So I think that's what prompted Unity to buy Weta. Because a lot of stock people were like, hey, this other engine developer is getting into Hollywood. What are you going to do about it? Well, let's buy Weta, which is a special effects company. That's the easiest way to get into Hollywood is just buying another company. But what ultimately they were talking about in Waypoint is that Unity has kind of saturated its own market, right? There's only so many indie developers that need a game engine. Unity was pretty ubiquitous to the point where, like, how do you grow? And that has prompted the whole company, at least the company under its current CEO, to have this kind of crisis of identity where they need to grow. They can't grow by being a game engine. So what do? They buy a Hollywood special effects company. They buy an ad tech company. And like they just kind of spend the next year floundering because they don't have a good direction to go. And so stock falls, they lay off people, they still buy another company to try to figure out what's going on, what is their future. And in between all of it, they just keep angering their base game developers because they're getting further and further away from game development.
And on top of it, doesn't seem to be doing very well monetarily because clearly investors are not happy. Do we need to re-show you the where is it? Come on. Yeah. Clearly they're not happy.
Yeah, from what was that? 190? Holy cow. That
Yeah,
was
they were at $196 and they're currently at $37. Granted, this has been a really tough year. I mean, this period, this right here, this is the economy.
sure, but like
But
look
like
at to the
at
left,
89, it's still bad.
to the left, there was a much bigger drop, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Unity being Unity. And the thing is that Unity were supposed to be kind of the good guys.
Yeah, they were.
They were known for being the really good guys of the two.
And yeah, and this gets into the other news story that I've kind of forgotten about. The CEO, who is John Riccitiello, former CEO of EA.
Oh, not just former CEO of EA, the real dickhead of EA, the quintessential dickhead of EA. He's the one that when everybody hated EA, he's the one that did. He's that guy. So anyway, yes, John Riccitiello.
Oh yeah. Hey, guess what? He's the CEO of Unity. I wonder if there's I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
See,
but
John Riccitiello is a failed Bobby Kotick. He's like Bobby Kotick, but he can't make money. One thing Bobby Kotick can do is he can make money. This guy is like Bobby Kotick, but he's not as good.
That is at the same time the harshest burn on someone or the greatest compliment.
That's kind of yeah, a little bit.
But
well, I'm not. The thing is, that it is a greatest burn because I'm not complimenting him for the only good thing about Bobby Kotick.
Oh yeah, well, like I would happily be a failed Bobby Kotick. John Riccitiello does not.
Yeah. Well, you'd be failing at being Bobby Kotick because you would fail at the bad things about him. So yeah. Anyway.
So amidst all of this shit going on with Unity, John Riccitiello did an interview where he basically said, like, oh, developers that don't monetize their games are fucking idiots.
Oh, fucking idiots. Yeah.
And he basically is like, oh yeah, all these people, they're all very artistic and I love them, but they're fucking idiots if they don't monetize. And he compared it to like Ferrari and like, oh yeah, Ferrari cares about the artistry of the cars and they still make their stuff out of clay, but other people don't do that. Except that's kind of a fundamental misunderstanding of what Unity is. Ferrari can afford to like be fancy about how they design their cars because they charge a crap ton of money. Unity from the beginning was always supposed to be the everyman's game engine.
Right. It's kind of going into Volkswagen and saying,
yeah,
why don't you make a luxury Volkswagen? It's like, you're in the wrong place. You need to go to our sister company, Porsche. So yeah, more people being awful. the more I know that I've been doing this for like 13 years, but it's gotten so much shittier. Like the business of making video games has gotten so much shittier in the last, I would say, 4 years.
I don't think it's gotten shittier. I think people have gotten more willing to speak out about the ways that it's always been shitty.
Maybe. I don't know. It's I think that once video games started to make $1 billion, I think that was the turning point where it attracted like assholes. Mm-hmm. Assholes, business people who don't care about video games. They only want to sell widgets. They want to sell a crap ton of widgets.
Crunch has always been a thing, and it's only now that people are like, hey, we should actually not do this.
Yeah. I don't know if crunch has always been a thing. That is a very good question. Has crunch always been a thing?
I think
But there's crunch and then there's crunch. Like the crunch on the first Halo game, they did it because they loved it. They They just
Yeah, but
love
that
doing
doesn't
it.
mean it was good.
No, but they liked it. It's what they weren't required to do it. They did it. I think that they would argue that the crunch was good back then because it was a camaraderie of men and women that were pushing to get something out by a deadline. And there is a great feeling about pushing stuff out as a team and getting it to deadline and having it be successful. I think that when it became mandatory for people and ubiquitous throughout the business and expected of you, that if you don't crunch, you will lose your job. That's when it no longer became fun.
I would say that crunch became an issue when HD became a thing, because there's a story now, and actually I didn't mention it, but we get to it later, about how the remake of Knights of the Old Republic has been delayed, and like they originally said, oh, it'll be out in like 2023. Like, no, I think they'd originally announced end of 2022.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it'll probably be 2023. Now the head of the studio is like, no, man, it's 25 at the earliest. But the thing is, you go look back at that old game, and with the SD computer graphics, you could create expansive worlds that were relatively easy to make. Like, you look at Final Fantasy VII. When they were talking about remaking Final Fantasy VII, they have to split it up into 3 games because that original game was so big.
Right.
But it's easy to make a big world that's all pixel graphics.
Yeah.
And so you compare just the art and design resources required to make a Final Fantasy VII versus a Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, people still want these games out along the same time frame.
We're all graphics queens. We are.
Yeah. And it's like, well, we need to hire a bunch more people. Then we need to make them work a lot more. And so it's like, I think with that shift to HD, the whip started cracking down a lot harder. And it's only like now that people are starting to rebel against that whip and say, hey, this really sucks.
Right. Okay.
That's my
that's interesting. I almost want to dive into this. This is an article about everybody always says there's always been crunch. Has there always been crunch, and when did it? If it was better before, what made it change? That's an interesting take on it, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, my next item. It's interesting that you brought up Star Wars: The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Because I actually have one that I was going to end, but you've already, created a great segue for me. So I think it was last week, the director of Gremlins. You remember Gremlins?
Oh, yeah.
Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight. That kind of thing. The director of Gremlins came out and said that Baby Yoda is completely stolen from Gremlins. And honestly, I can't disagree. Anyway, it is a beef very much brewing between the Baby Yoda team Baby Yoda and Team Gremlins. So the filmmaker is Joe Dante, and he did the Gremlins in 1984 with the horror comedy. If you haven't seen Gremlins, it's a great movie. It's very 1980s, but it is a great movie. So he said, quote, I think the longevity of the film is really key to this one character, Gizmo, which that was the name of the chief gremlin, who is essentially like a baby. Which brings me, of course, to the subject of Baby Yoda, who is completely stolen and is just out and out copied. Shamelessly, I would think. So he was the one that said it was a shameless copy. And, you look at Baby Yoda, and compare Baby Yoda. I've
got a picture here too, in case.
There's Baby Yoda. There's Gremlin. It is pretty close.
So, like, yes, I can see it because look, they're short, stocky, with big ears.
Big ears off to the side, almost exactly placed in exactly the same way. The nose is almost identical.
The one thing I would say about this is look at a picture of Yoda And how do you do Baby Yoda?
Right.
You can't really go Baby Yoda without making something look like Gizmo, because Yoda looks like an old Gizmo.
Right. A grown up Gizmo. Let's see. Trying to find. Yeah, here's another great picture of. Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm pulling up hopefully something. My dog is now barking. Buddy, don't. No, they're just delivering stuff. And of course my Chrome! It is not working. It is speech balling on me. All right. So, sorry. Chrome is speech balling.
Yeah,
there we go. Now, of course, now it's not. Open image in a new tab. Okay. There we go. Finally. Here we go. Got a point. You got a point.
Like, how do you de-age Yoda?
I would normally, because I fucking hate Star Wars now, but I was on Team Gizmo, Team Gremlins, just out of spite. But honestly, I forget what it's called. There is a word for it in biology when you have two animals that are not related to each other, that have evolved in such a way that they actually look like they're related to each other, but they don't come from the original protagonists or original ancestors. I'm trying to think bats and birds.
Is it convergent evolution?
It's convergent evolution. Convergence. Yep, it's convergence. That Baby Yoda happens to look like Gizmo, but that's because Yoda looks like a grown-up Gizmo.
Okay. So I'm going to take this into way too far territory.
Please do. I'm all for it.
Yoda's species, they're clearly hairless.
Right.
Gizmo, covered in fur.
Right.
So does this mean that Gizmo is the product of Yoda fucking Chewbacca? Is Wookiee plus Yoda species equal Gizmo?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I love this theory. Oh, we have to spread this.
I'm going to say that Gremlins is actually part of the Star Wars cinematic universe because it is a Chewbacca Yoda offspring that somehow got stuck on Earth.
Oh my god. That is fucking genius.
AC Wraith also says, or an Ewok. Ewok might be a little easier.
It's Yoda fucked an Ewok, and it gets you. Okay, I'm got to pull up a gizmo now. Hold on a second. I got to pull up a gizmo. Another picture of Gizmo. Come on, internet. Don't be a dick. Come on. Here we go. All right. Open as a image. No, do not save the image. Open as an image. Chrome! All right. There we go. Yeah, I see it.
That's totally,
I see it. And AC Ray says, plus it happened a long time ago, so it could still be an ancient Chinese creature? What?
Oh, yeah, because in Gremlins, Gizmo is like an ancient Chinese creature.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. He says, make the ears less pink, and I don't know, I'd see it as much. Yeah. That is okay. Yeah. It does look like a Yoda.
Yeah, I like the Yoda fucking Ewok
A Yoda
theory.
and an Ewok had a night together. Although Chewbacca's funnier. All right. Anyway, not really gaming news, but hilarious.
I'm
All right. Next item.
Okay. I can bring us back down with more
Please
bad
bring us
company.
back down into more bad news. Sure. Go do it.
Okay. This is, I don't know if it's bad news. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. Yeah. Ubisoft announced that Avatar game is going to be delayed. And so it will not ship. It will not release around the same time as the film.
Oh,
Which
okay.
I feel like is really, really hurtful for that game because I don't know why people would play it necessarily outside the game.
It'll have to be a really, 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 really good game to make people want to play it.
Yeah, like I imagine the movie comes out, the game comes out, you want those things to be together.
Right. You need to use the hype of the movie to sell the game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then in their first quarter earnings report, they also said that a smaller unannounced premium game originally for this fiscal year was delayed, which people are all assuming would be the Assassin's Creed Rift, which was a piece of DLC turned into a full game. So that also got delayed. In addition, Splinter Cell VR got canceled. Ghost Recon VR got canceled. And
wow.
so they basically canceled a bunch of stuff, delayed a bunch of stuff, and now they have Skull and Bones and Mario and Rabbids shipping this year.
That's all they're going to ship this year?
Yeah. Which is not a lot, especially considering Skull and Bones is a big question mark.
It is. I'm hoping that it does well.
I think it looks
not
cool.
just because I have some of my IRA flunked into it.
Well, look,
I am going to be on the next investors call. I am going to be on the next investors call.
Now, see,
Mark my words.
You should hope that it does poorly because then Ubisoft will sell, which will make the stock spike.
Yeah, true.
But then kind of around that same issue, because Ubisoft is having such a problematic time, earlier this year, they released Roller Champions, which was the roller derby game that we had played at PAX that we really enjoyed. And like I played some of it. I really enjoyed it. I thought the season pass was a little grindy for my taste, but like the base game was really good. So they announced that the first season of Roller Champions was basically being prolonged indefinitely so that there wasn't really a season 2 to talk about. That kind of prompted a lot of people to assume that Roller Champions was being shut down to the point that developers had to come out and Ubisoft had to come out and say, no, we're not shutting down Roller Champions. Really, it's still here. We still have plans for it.
It's a hell of a fun game.
Oh yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad. You know, I honestly am okay with seasons going away for certain games. Not every game that's competitive online multiplayer has to have a season.
Yeah, not everything needs a season pass.
No. Well,
so yeah, even
because you make more money that way, but
yeah, it's a way to monetize things over and over again.
Right, exactly. So that's a thing. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not. That didn't really register in my world. I'm not a Roller Champions person. I'm not any game that comes competitive multiplayer game that says, "Oh, it's a season." Nah,
I just thought it's funny that hey, Ubisoft put out this thing and people immediately assume that within 6 months it's already getting shut down because Ubisoft.
Yep. All right, let's see. My next item is let me pull up things. What should I talk about? Let's see. We already talked about that. Let me add a little to the doom and gloom. Actually, it's a kind of combination of doom and gloom and doom and gloom and a little bit lightening it up. it's because it happened the way it did. If you are interested in buying Anthem, you might want to head over to GameStop. Anthem is now selling for 1 penny at GameStop. And is it on Game Pass? I'm curious enough to spend a penny. Which is an old-fashioned English term for going to the bathroom.
Let's go talk now.
What is all that noise?
Sorry, I was opening something and it started playing.
Yeah, of course.
It's a Kotaku.
So yeah, I'm 1 penny's worth curious because I've heard that the flying is really satisfying, but that's the only satisfying thing about the game.
Yeah,
which was the whole thing about the game, was that it was a satisfying flying game, and they tried to shove the satisfying flying into the game instead of making the game with satisfying flying. But yeah, that's a thing. How far Anthem fell so quickly. It's a real cautionary tale. And I think the fact that it's selling for a penny it's like leaving a tip for a penny. It's like, it's intentional. We could be just giving these away, but we're not. We're actually just charging you a penny for it, which is so almost free that we might as well give it away, but we're not gonna, because it's not worth it.
If anything, it just goes to show that even at like $5 or $10, people aren't buying it.
Yep. Yeah, that's sad. So, yeah, that's my short item.
Okay.
What you got?
So the leader of Eidos Montreal. I guess former CEO of Eidos Montreal, Stéphane Dastus. He founded Eidos Montreal, and that studio was recently sold by Square Enix to not Tencent, the Embracer Group. He has done an interview with GameIndustry.biz where he basically unloads on Square Enix Japan and says what everyone has been expecting, which is, oh yeah, like they expected astronomical sales that were a joke. From Kotaku, they said in 1 year, Japan was expecting a 65 million in profit without any big games to release during that time frame, when they were already 65 million loss. So they were in the red.
So they didn't have a game. They were in the red by 65 million.
In the red. They didn't have a game, and they expected profits.
And they expected $130 million somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And he basically just says that it wasn't not just Japan, but also Square Enix London had basically lost confidence in anything that they did. In any annual fiscal reports, there was always a phrase from the Japan side saying, we were disappointed with certain games. They didn't reach expectations. And that was only for games done outside Japan. So everything we expect. But then he added which again, people expected, that he kind of said, if I read between the lines, they are setting themselves up to be acquired by Sony. That Sony had said they were interested, or maybe Sony had said they were interested in acquiring it, but only wanted the Japanese developers. So Square Enix got rid of the Western things to make themselves more appealing to Sony.
Yep, that's exactly what they did.
Because
it is the inevitable next step in like big announcement in gaming. It is inevitable. Sony is going to pick up a large studio. They have to, or else they will lose this console generation. Like not a lot, not a little bit, a lot.
We'll see.
I don't think that people loved the PlayStation 5 because of the superior graphics and everything. And since then, now we're getting into the long haul of the PlayStation 5. And if PlayStation 5 cannot deliver games over its lifespan, and it's more expensive, and Nick sneezes are really a force of God. If it's more expensive for the console by $100, if it's also doesn't have the same amount of games, in fact, a considerably smaller amount of AAA games.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I'm saying if, because in the future, I think that very well may be. We will not see Bethesda games on PlayStation. That's not going to happen. At least not at the first crack.
Did they say this stuff all
PlayStation has to buy something. PlayStation has to buy something. And Square Enix is the logical choice. For culture, for the kinds of games that are popular on PlayStations. Yeah.
Well, again, like I said it before, the reason Microsoft had to buy those companies is because their first-party games were awful. They spent the entire last generation with practically nothing. So, if anything, like buying, Bethesda and Activision puts them ahead of Sony in terms of first-party content, but not by all that much. Because honestly, the Sony first-party content, it like heads and tails above what Microsoft has been offering for the past half decade.
Yeah. I wonder, and this is just me, like doing what do they call that? A mind challenge or whatever. I wonder if at some point, and maybe even in this generation, that consoles it's not intentional, but consoles become continent specific. Like Japan is PlayStation, and all the JRPGs and Japan style games come out on PlayStation. All the American and European style games go to Xbox. And then, of course, Nintendo is the great crossover.
I would say Sony is way too popular in America for that to ever happen. Like
not if they can't deliver games.
The PlayStation.
Not if they can't deliver games.
I do believe the PlayStation still outsells the Xbox.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is that the PlayStation 5 is outselling the Xbox because it is a superior system. No questions. Hands down, superior system. Period. And I don't think anyone realistically would argue that. But now that we're in the long haul of this console life, what's going to sell the console is the games that come on it in the future, to the future. And PlayStation, at least what I'm seeing starting to form up into the future, is not going to have a compelling argument enough to overcome the extra $100 price for not now, but I'm saying maybe a year in the future.
Maybe like if I look at
year and a half, when all of the contracts for Bethesda are delivered that allowed them to have PlayStation at least timed exclusives.
Yeah, I think they've already.
When all those are expired,
they've already passed that point.
Then yeah, you're going to see a lot of really good games off of Xbox, and you're not going to see them on PlayStation.
Like, yes, you will. But if anything, that just puts Microsoft on the same footing as Sony. Like, look at this year. Microsoft kind of has a lot of jack shit. Like, they don't have any big games for the holiday. Sony has God of War, and they put out Horizon earlier.
Yeah, but this is you cannot take this last year and a half. You have to add a grain of salt to that.
Yeah, well,
that is very much a function of the pandemic. And we knew that. We knew that was happening when the pandemic hit. We said, you're going to see the great drought of games in 2 years.
Yeah, that's not just the pandemic. That's Microsoft, like, kind of not having a lot to show. Even after buying a bunch of studios, they still don't have a lot of games to show.
It's early days. When
They
you
showed
talking
off.
about studios?
I want to know, where's Avowed? Avowed was supposed to be Obsidian Studios' answer to Skyrim. They announced it 3-4 years ago, and nothing since then.
Mm.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing on Fable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say it'll be interesting to see what happens because Sony has a proven track record of being able to deliver a lot of high quality console exclusives, whereas Microsoft in the past, like I said, half decade has shown a kind of floundering ability to deliver console exclusives.
Yeah.
Also, AC Wraith is like, games drought, console gamers. I'm with you. I have not experienced any sort of games drought.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I
All
am
right.
loaded.
Yes. You're right. That we're talking in the console world, not PC. Obviously, PC's got no problems.
Not just that, but like console AAA games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about a very slim piece of the game industry. However, it is a piece of the game industry that sells consoles.
Yeah.
The piece that sells consoles.
Like, you make a big deal about, the Xbox owns Skyrim now. Like, right? That's going to be huge. Except Skyrim is Skyrim because it's on everything and has been ported to everything for decades.
And modded like crazy.
Like, can Starfall match Skyrim when from the beginning, it sells half the number of copies?
Right. All right. So, next item.
Yeah. Anyways, that was all to say that everything you speculated about Square Enix is true. Their former boss is like, yeah, everything you know about them is shit.
Yep. All right. Yeah. What's next item?
The former Tony Hawk studio is unionizing. The studio formerly known as
let's talk.
Vicarious
First off,
Vision.
with this week in the Activision Blizzard shit show, I have something to add to that as well. So
Okay.
yeah, this week we really should have some shit show, like bumper music. But this week is another Activision studio is unionizing.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the name of the studio?
It was Vicarious Visions, but then they got shifted over to Blizzard, and I think now it's just like Blizzard Albany.
Right. Okay. And they're unionizing. Or what stage are they at? Have they taken the vote? Have they? Will they officially be unionizing, or are they considering becoming unionized?
They've launched a unionization effort.
Okay.
Basically.
So
it's the beginning, but
Right.
with Activision kind of saying that they would, I don't know if they said they would recognize the other union, but once Raven Software unionized, the QA at Raven,
Yeah.
the QA at Vicarious Visions / Blizzard Albany
Right.
has now said, well, hey, if they can do it.
Yeah. I would imagine that all of their QAs are going to, at least the third party, like two. I would call it almost 2.5, 1.5 like party, first and a half party. It's like it used to be something separate, or it's considered something separate, but it's actually really a division of the company itself. They're probably all the QA departments are going to unionize, and I think that's why Blizzard fought so hard and so dirty to not have Raven unionize, because they knew that's going to start the flood. That was the ping pong ball thrown into the room full of mousetraps.
Yeah.
All right. So my this week in the Activision Blizzard shit show, to absolutely no one's surprise, an artist is now suing Activision Blizzard for shameless, and I'm talking shameless, theft of their work. So, the name of the artist is, come on, my stupid freaking. There we go. What? I have no idea what's going on with my Chrome, but my Chrome is really not working well.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
having
it's
that problem with Chrome.
Yeah, I've even lost
to
the.
reboot?
Oh, there we go. It was not Chrome. It was the stupid please sign up for us and get rid of your ad blocker. Fuck you. The artist. Oh, the work in question is for Call of Duty, the Vanguard Samoyed skin in the Floof Furry Tracer Pack. So the author of the original art poster and image. It looks very much like something that was posted by an artist elsewhere. In fact, I will pull up the article. So here's the article or the pictures, and you can see that it's almost like exactly the same. Like this is the Floof pack. This is the artist's original piece. So the original artist created a set of it was like a number of pieces of art that showed different animals in like combat gear. And one of them obviously was the Samoyed that you saw in that original drawing. And the author of the original art posted that image in a tweet and compared the original, as you saw that tweet there. So the concept artist, the guy's name is, I think it's Salin 5, or maybe it's Salinas. I don't know, because, the 5 being the S in Gamer Code. But it's Salin 5, I'm going to go with. He posted his original artwork on ArtStation. And it was, like I said, part of a collection that had a bunch of different animals that were all in combat gear, wearing military gears for all intents and purposes. He had a wolf, he had a fox, he had a kitty cat, he had a tiger, and he had 2 human figures, and of course the Samoyed. And they were like not only the individuals, but also in urban landscapes. And they had some concept art for the weapons that they were holding. And the similarities, obviously, between the Floof Furry pack and his work is unmistakable. It's almost identical. So he's now asking for compensation for his work. He claims he's reached out to Activision for an explanation, and he wants the media. He put a media notification out that, hey, they stole my work. Here's my work. Here's what they did. Here's the similarities. I mean, it's down to like the patches on their arms or the things they have slung over their back. It's almost exactly the same. So we'll see that. Now, this isn't the first time that Activision has been accused of plagiarization. I would say not even accused, that they have plagiarized. They saw the very similar situation back in 2001 with alleged plagiarism from a character in Call of Duty Modern Warfare called Cade Janus, and it was in the center of a dispute for key aspects of the image and the Mara for the Mara character, that included pose, weapons, gender, hair color, and gear and makeup. It was almost all the same. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, coming as no surprise to anyone, they have stolen another artist's artwork for content for, of course, Call of Duty. All right, your next item.
Okay. Let's see. EA has sort of, I don't know. The EA has given some information about Skate 4. Mm-hmm. There was a 20-minute live stream that sort of just gave some basic overviews of it, and it kind of rubbed people the wrong way, or at least made people like perk up an eyebrow, because it will be a free-to-play game that obviously includes microtransactions. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be called Skate 4. It's just going to be called Skate. So,
Wasn't that the name of
typical
Skate
reboot
1?
fashion, yes. In
Okay.
the same way that the Tomb Raider reboot is called Tomb Raider, that all the other reboots are called all just the same thing.
Okay.
Skate is Skate.
Okay.
But yeah, the fact that, hey, it's free to play, has microtransactions. A lot of people don't like that.
Of course it does. John
Honestly-
Riccatello's legacy lives on at EA.
Yeah, but honestly, I would say for a game that's has niche as Skate, that like, it's done well to have this like really groundswell fans.
Mm-hmm.
A free to play model seems like it's pretty. It makes sense for Skate. Like, I don't know if I would go out and buy a Skate game, but I would download a free to play game to see what it's like. So,
Until you get to a point where you have to buy a microtransaction, and then you would walk away.
well, it depends on how much fun I'm having with the game, right?
True. Yeah, but microtransactions are never a reasonable amount. Once you start, you're paying
Yes.
unreasonable amounts.
But if
That's
I'm
why it's
starting,
not worth it to even buy one.
if I'm starting from free, but like I said, I feel like that game makes sense just because Skate, like, it was a popular game, but I apparently didn't sell all that well, which is why they've hesitated making a new one. So to invest the amount of resources required to make a Skate game, I could see them making it free to play with microtransactions as a way of hedging their bets of like, hey, just in case Skate 4 doesn't sell well, which is very likely that it wouldn't, let's make it free to play with microtransactions as a way of, like I said, hedging our bets, which like I said, I can't blame them for that. Skate feels like the kind of IP that I would totally hedge my bets on as well.
Yeah. All right, let's see. This is, I believe, my last item. I picked this one for a reason, left it last, the last one. Crusader Kings is now not the only game with incest in it. At least for the moment. I have no idea if it's been fixed, but at one point, Sims 4 allowed incest. So here's the story. There was a big update on Sims that added curved wall and body hair and a whole different section of wants. Remember, Sims have these wants? Like, I want to eat, or I want to go out and play, or I want to see someone. It kind of has these thought bubbles to let you know what they want. Unfortunately, in that update, when they updated the wants, there was a little bit of missing code in there that says don't want relationships with your family members. Players, immediately after the update was out, players started reporting that some in-game characters were looking to date their family members. One player shared a screenshot of an older woman who was suddenly wanted to start a romantic relationship with her son. Another player shared a bug report with EA stating that one of their male Sims wanted to ask his twin sister to be his girlfriend. That same support thread had another player on the Xbox that shared an off-putting example of a daughter wanting to date her father. So yeah, okay. Sims did make an announcement on Twitter that said, just wanted to acknowledge about the want to date a family member is something that we know about. We've reproduced it ourselves. We're working on it. We're looking to get it fixed ASAP. And thanks for all the bug reports. We appreciate it. We're, of course, working on the aging bug, too, because there was another bug that goes on that as soon as they come in, like, they age almost instantly and die. So, yeah, there's a couple of things. So I don't know if it's sorted out yet, but I find it fucking hilarious.
What if I don't want it fixed?
That's what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking. What if you don't want to have that fixed? What if you want that option
Yeah.
to just have a bunch of really fucked up inbred people like the goths all doing it?
That's just more drama.
I know. Family drama and relationship drama.
Mm-hmm. Drama Lannister style.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, that's was my favorite story of the week that just made me laugh. Rolled over. I always usually like roll over and read the news before I get up, and I rolled over and scrolling through, and it's like it made me giggle in bed.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. So your next item.
Okay. We'll end with a
AC Ray says it needs to be a toggle. It needs to be a toggle. And Blood Reaper says Sims 4 has done this before. Really? I didn't know this. Yeah, I think honestly, and I know they would catch a lot of shit for having that toggle, but I think that needs to be a toggle. That needs to be like a hidden feature. AC Ray says that those freaks who use the game to make people they know into cheaters need another drama option. Yeah. And he just posted the link to the Discord. Okay, good to know. Thank you. Speaking of which, if you are not on our Discord, you can join our Discord. It's really cool. It's where we share, like when we're doing a show, or if we have to cancel a show, or if I'm going to go live with playing Crusader Kings. Speaking of incest, you can join our Discord channel. There it is. Please join. So anyway, your next item was, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and not end. I don't want to say end. Sony has announced a new reward program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It will roll out later this year. And basically it's like, hey, you can get things called PlayStation points for earning trophies, completing challenges. Maybe you're the first person to get a platinum trophy. Maybe you finished, God of War. I guess if you signed up for PlayStation Plus, you'll also earn some of these points with purchases you make, very similar to what happens on the Switch. Every time you buy something on the Switch, you get like a gold coin per cent that you spend, or something like that. And so if you spend $10, you get like 10 points. So they've also said that you can use these points on digital collect. Oh no, this is in addition to the points, a new type of reward called digital collectibles. They are digital representations of things that PlayStation fans enjoy. Figurines of beloved iconic characters, and a form of entertainment, cherished devices that tap into Sony's history of innovations, things like this. And then they specifically say, these are definitely not NFTs. There's an interview with the Washington Post where Sony's vice president has said, quote, "It is definitely not NFTs. Definitely not. You can't trade them or sell them. This is not leveraging any blockchain technologies, and definitely not NFTs."
Good.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's just a digital collectible tchotchke that NFTs are at their core, just digital NFTs tchotchkes, without all of the bullshit behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and they haven't announced like the more details about it, like how many points will you get? What is the exchange rate on the store? Important things like that they have not announced. They just kind of announced the premise of this rewards program, but
and clarified it's not NFTs.
Yeah.
NFT
but hey,
bros, move on.
Yeah, I am all for like any sort of reward system that isn't NFTs.
Right. Okay, next item.
Yeah, in like probably the biggest news of this past week,
which I am so angry at you that you insist on making the biggest news of the week 2 hours into the show.
Okay, in my defense, the way I opened tabs, the first story that I opened got pushed further and further to the right.
Should I send you a list so that you can see the list at a glance?
I make a list.
Okay. Then you should go through the list when you start. Don't look at your tabs. Look at your list and go, what's the big news? Because the big fucking news that I've been waiting for you to say for 2 hours, because I wasn't around for it, GTA 6 leaked.
I mean, you could have brought this up.
I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Well, they're not, I don't know if they're leaks, but they're rumors.
Okay.
This is according to Bloomberg.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Jason Schreier. Right? It's Jason
what's
Schreier.
the word?
Right?
Yeah, but like not, they're rumors, but they're like kind of rumors you can trust. Like, what's an authoritative rumor?
That's an authoritative rumor.
Okay.
Yeah.
A rumor you might be able to trust is that the series for the first time will star a woman, has a pair. GTA 5 was big because they had 3 main characters.
Right.
This one will have 2 main characters in a Bonnie and Clyde type of situation.
Oh. Okay,
And so,
that's interesting. I'm good with that.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's supposedly coming out between now and March 2024. Apparently, the map was supposed to include parts of North and South America, but Rockstar really, really dialed that back to just kind of add more areas and cities with the idea that they can add more post-launch, which makes sense considering how long GTA 5 has kind of been in the been popular.
Right.
But this all comes with what they call a culture shift at the company, or what the article on Bloomberg calls a culture shift at the company, which is trying to cut down on the horrid crunch of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Which was horrible. Their crunch for RDR2, it was so brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Like brutal even by crunch standards.
Yeah, and this also comes after one of their main guys left. One of the Hauser brothers left. And so what the article says is that the studio is trying to be more culturally sensitive with their writing, especially since American culture has become a parody of itself in modern times.
Yeah, it sort of has.
And so when you think about what
you think about when GTA 5 when it came out and what a different country this was.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
You can't satirize American politics today
because it is satire. It's just so fucking ludicrous. You can't make it any more ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is a Simpsons show. It's a Simpsons meme come to life.
I mean, it's not just that. So to get somewhat political, I read this story around the same time I read like a update about Matt Gaetz and the stuff that he's facing. Being
the fact that he's not a representative,
trafficking underage
girls, and he still holds an office.
And so I read these 2 stories like kind of not side by side, but within a day, and I was like, "Oh my god, Matt Gaetz is a GTA character. He is 100%.
He even looks like a GTA character.
100%. I can imagine, your low-level crime guy going up and like getting a mission from Matt Gaetz about, oh, go do this, go cover up this for me, go cover up that for me. And then eventually you get, through it all, he's talking about, oh, I'm not trafficking these people. I thought they were of age. They looked of age to me. These are the rants that he would monologue at you while you're getting a mission from him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's 100%.
He is a GTA character, right down to the hair.
And it's like, you can't make
and the mouth, it's just a little too large, so it just looks kind of like he's always sneering.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Either that or like a what's the name? I hate getting old. Jesus, he is. Look at that. It's like straight out of GTA.
Yeah, right? So, like, how you can't make a character like him as a joke because he exists in real life.
I know. I know.
So I sympathize with Rockstar just from a writing perspective. What do you do with GTA 6 when we are living GTA 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, some other stuff that came out of the news story is that they were originally planning a multiplayer mode, police-centric multiplayer mode called Cops and Crooks.
Oh.
But they stopped development of that after the George Floyd was murdered.
Jesus.
Which makes sense because, like, shit.
Like, once again, more proof we're living in GTA at the moment.
Yeah. Once again, it's like, shit. We had a multiplayer mode built around like cops and robbers, but maybe
Cops beating up people.
Maybe that doesn't
fly anymore.
That hits on a nerve at this point that maybe we don't want to touch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I imagine that. Okay, it's taken a while for GTA 6 to come out because GTA 5 is still making boatloads of money.
Yeah,
they don't need to make GTA 5.
No,
but it's perfect timing because GTA has to kind of undergo this identity crisis and reinvent itself.
Yeah.
So I imagine that also takes a long time to figure things out.
Yeah. Oh, man. That is such a depressing story. It is such a depressing story. I was really excited about GTA 6 until that. Now it's like, oh, fuck me.
But this just means that aren't you interested to see what GTA 6 is?
GTA 6 is going to have to be Saints Row in order to be a parody of itself. Like, what does that make Saints Row?
Okay, look. If Keith David runs for president, then we're all fucked. Because then we've become Saints Row.
Dr. Oz is going to run for president.
Well, okay. He's running for Senate, but he probably won't win. All things considered.
Did he lose? I think he lost.
I don't think
have they had the election yet?
I think it's in November.
Well, the reason why he's running for the Senate is because he's going to run for president.
Yeah, but last I checked, he was doing really poorly.
And rightfully so. Anyway, can we
look? We are in the parody of ourselves. We are living through the.
Nick, we have got to move. We've got to move. We cannot stay here. I am already making plans to bug the fuck out of this country. I'm not gonna lie. It's 100% true. I am making plans to bug the fuck out of this country, and I will let you know where I go. And you and Rachel are more than welcome to come. I will absolutely, shelter you from the Nazis.
Okay.
I'll build like a secret closet, a door behind a bookcase, and you could sit up there and write in your diary.
Wait, if you're housing me and you're out of the country, why would I have to stay in your attic?
I'm
You're just going to be a dick and make
No. I'm making a bad Anne Frank joke.
I know. I'm just saying, why would you force me to stay in the attic?
I don't know.
I like the idea.
Chaos just texted me, and he says, only if you take me with you. Yeah, but I'm actively making plans. And it's going to happen because I'm not sticking around. All I got to say is you better learn to speak Spanish. That's all I got to say.
What if I go to Canada? Well, then I'd have to learn
French. Canada's not going to take you. Oh, I've looked into this shit. The only place, actually, your age, you can get to New Zealand. I would get to New Zealand if I were you. Because your age, you can still do it. But you're running out of time. At my age, there's only really one country that will take me that will be fine. That will be okay with it. Chaos wrote, "Hola, senor." Yeah. So anyway, moving right along.
I'm looking through Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Funko Pop is going to be making a AAA game in 2023. They have not announced much of what that is. Wait, didn't Funko make a Gears of War game? Wasn't there a Gears of War Funko game?
Chaos would know that. Hey, I know Chaos is listening because he's texting me.
Did that come out? Oh yeah, Gears Pop. It was a mobile game. Came out in 2019.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
But-
apparently
so anyway.
received mixed or average reviews.
Okay.
So it sounds like it came out, didn't set the world on fire, and then just kind of faded into the background. But
So-
Funko is not to be deterred, and they will make another game.
Yeah. So what was the name of the KFC game that was so good that everybody really liked, actually?
The KFC game?
Yeah, the KFC had a video game that was a really kind of good game. Somebody will know this. What was the
Was
name of
it-
the title?
Was it in the 360 era?
Yes, I think so.
I
Yes.
I think that was Doritos. I think Doritos had.
Doritos had one, but there was God dang it. No, there was definitely one that was a
Oh.
chicken one.
Blood Reaper says date Colonel Sanders.
No, it wasn't date Colonel Sanders. God. No, definitely wasn't date Colonel
Colonel
Sanders.
Sanders dating game. I could see someone making.
No,
that.
I'm sorry. It wasn't KFC. It was Burger King. The Burger
Oh,
King.
Sneak King.
Sneak King. Yeah, that's why I couldn't think. I'm like, I know. Yeah, it's like I mean, it's probably going to be a game. It'll be no sneaking. The
No.
Sneak King apparently is really good. Did you play it?
No, I didn't.
I've watched. I did not play it myself. I have watched other streamers play it, and it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, moving
I
right
heard
along.
So I heard a meow, and I don't know where it came from.
All right, I'm looking. Let's move right along to Nintendo buys an animation studio.
Oh yes. Let me wait. I think I. Shit.
I am taking control of this show because if I don't, Nick is going to start mining for things that he doesn't need to.
Yes. They bought It's a small animation studio that will focus on developing visual content.
All right.
And it basically sounds like they'll be doing it. It will be creating like a bunch of not movies, but more like online videos, you know, kind of fun stuff like that. Smaller videos, things. It's not like, oh, Nintendo's really going to get into the film business.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we want a company that will make the video content for our games, and we want to own that company.
Right. Hey, wouldn't you know it? As soon as I mention Sneak King, who shows up? But Goalie.
Goalie's been talking
It's
about
like he knows. Yeah, Goalie. We were talking about
the games. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to look at those.
Yeah, well, there's one game that he's really addicted to, and I looked it up. He says, "Send me an invite." Oh God! All right, and now the show is going to be 3 hours long.
Oh yeah, hey, he's been. I want to know like what video game has gotten him back into video games. Yeah,
Goalie.
Project Lazarus.
I have to remind what his email is. It's been a while. All right, there we go. Goalie, the invite has been sent. Fuck me, this is gonna be awful. Dynamo Pictures is the name of the art studio. So, Blood Reaper says vape will make your computer high. I am not vaping weed. I cannot. If I was vaping weed, I would be under the desk right now. No, I do not. I cannot. But vape weed. But yeah, he's really likes Project Lazarus, and I almost bought it because it's a reverse bullet hell. Actually, I take the banner.
I thought
off.
he said no. He said it was like Left 4 Dead.
It's a reverse bullet hell.
Wait, what's a reverse bullet hell?
Let
You
me show
shoot
you.
bullets?
Yes, you shoot the bullets on increasingly large waves of. Oh, there he is. On increasingly large waves of enemies.
Hey, what's going on,
Gully!
guys?
Yeah, I've been taking a break from my sports gaming, and I've been playing a couple of games on Steam that I just stumbled on the people on YouTube are playing. And I'm like, and I'm addicted to 2 games right now.
Okay.
One of them is Project Lazarus, and you're in a mech, and you get dropped onto a planet, and you just shoot things, and it feels like zombies because they're just coming at you from all places. And if you remember Diablo 3, when it gets completely insane, and you're just surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of these things, and just you got lasers and lights going everywhere, that's what this game is. It is so fun. If you could call up some gameplay to that, is fun.
Yep,
Even
I'm doing it right now.
My channel had some gameplay. Yeah, speed up ahead a little bit there. And so those things going around you are called Cosmic Guardians. If you can get 2 of those and upgrade them to the max, you can't be touched. And you cut through these things like butter. This is how crazy as it gets. And so as you're playing, you level up and you can choose, do you want to go faster? Do you want to have more powerful guns? What guns do you want to get? And the whole bit. And so there's a progressive system in this game after you get
There we
done.
go.
Yes, and this is when it gets nuts.
This is when it gets fun.
And and you just start mowing the stuff, flamethrowers and guns, and you got to decide after each level which one you want to upgrade, and then this little boss battle at the end. And I'm so addicted to this game, it really is. It was $2.99.
It's $2.99 on Steam.
And if you can get it on sale, but I've probably got 20 hours into this game, so I'm paying a penny an hour for this game. I think something like that, $1 an hour. I don't know what I'm doing, but it is just absolutely nuts. Project Lazarus is just so much fun. And you just get in a mech, and you get different mechs you can unlock. And so maybe you got a favorite mech that you like to use in the whole bit. And I think they got like 3 different maps. They get this is the green planet, then they have a desert, and then they have an ice planet. And you just go around and killing things, and more come out, and bigger things come out, and you just keep upgrading. And
Is there an end?
Yeah, like this guy just died, so you can die. Okay, and then you gain currency. So when you at the end, whether you win or not, you gain currency. You go into your armory, and then you upgrade your gun. So when you first get something, it goes right to that level, which is beautiful. So you don't got to upgrade it during the game. So yeah, I think you can get things upgraded to level 5 or 6 of the 10. So I've maxed out a couple of things, and you just go and you shoot, and you don't shoot, you just control. So I got my little my wired Xbox 360 controller from 19.
Oh gosh, really?
And you just use the thumbsticks, and I just sit back like this, and I just
Oh, so yeah, all the
around.
shooting's automatic.
Yeah, yep, and it's all the loading's automatic and the whole bit. So yes, Project Lazarus. I felt like it's like zombies because you're just getting hoarded on, but you're in a mech shooting around. And yeah, you get the orbital strike, so things come out of the sky. This guy's got his Guardian upgraded here, so you can see the circle spinning around him. And now he's in a special circle, which is going to upgrade it to antimatter mode. I just found antimatter mode. And you see that big dude there? He's the boss. And if he hits you, it's a two-hit death from him. So you got to kind of like go in, hit him, and then get away. But yeah, I call the boss Edie, but it's just me.
Thanks. It's all right. I call my dog Gully in Crusader Kings.
Oh, he must be pretty cool.
He kept on coming in and taking a dump in the middle of my court and upsetting all my vassals.
Have you seen my new dog?
You have a dog?
We got a new dog. Yeah.
Oh.
She got a new dog.
Yeah. Here, what? Mrs. Gully.
She's watched somebody had him. Somebody in New Hampshire, a friend of a friend had him, and just like, I don't want this dog anymore. I want to go do things that I don't have to come home and worry about a dog.
Oh, really?
And she's about this big, and she's like a little long-haired Chihuahua, and she's the sweetest dog.
Oh, is she really? Good.
She's unbelievable.
Aww.
And what's good about it is
you haven't had a really sweet dog in a really long time.
No, since the husky died. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she takes him to work. She's an office dog. And so it's like, I'm going to go. So she's like, here they go. They're both going to work. They get one cup of coffee, one small cup of coffee, and then they go. and she brings a little bed and she sits in the bed all day and people come in and they pat the dog and it's the office is happy that she's there. The runs around.
That's
People. She's only this big. You know,
awesome.
she's really tiny. You know?
And somebody
Yeah.
said, I don't want the dog. I don't want a dog. I don't want this dog anymore. How could you not want that dog? That's the
Yeah.
easiest dog in the world.
Yeah, really small dog, and I think she's 8 years old. So it's not a puppy, so it's
Right.
you know it's not going to outlive us, you know. But so we did that. So yeah, we get the new dog there, and she's up in bed with the wife right now. That's what she does. Is, she sits with her and just change. I mean, we went out to breakfast today. We come home, she's in the window. We come home bouncing up and down. She comes in the door and just like goes right by me. Right for Mrs. Goalie, and just like
Oh, yeah.
So
Knows who
they're
mommy
like this.
is.
Yeah, so me and CJ, the other dog, just like the guys, what is nothing around here anymore. The other game
awesome.
I'm playing,
No,
while I'm
yes.
talking about it, Dome Keeper on Steam. It's a free to play game right now.
Mhm.
Okay, and by the way, I think they said Project Lazarus was still in alpha, and it's but I've never seen an alpha game that's quite done like this. Dome Keeper is a lot like Dig Dug kind of type of thing in SteamWorld Dig. It really reminds me of SteamWorld Dig, where you're on a planet with a dome and you go down and you start digging and you start carrying the things up to the top that you mine, and then you start upgrading. So you upgrade your jetpack for your speed, you upgrade how much you can carry, you upgrade your dome. So you come up to the dome, you just drop off the little things like that. It processes automatically. You go in and you can upgrade your laser, you can upgrade your speed. So it's got some RPG elements in it. And so you're balancing between how fast you want to go and how much,
How much you want to carry.
Yeah, how much you want to carry, how much strength your dome has, because you got to defend it. So you go down, and on the left is a little monster meter over there. It looks like Space Invaders. That's kicking down. So you go down, you do some digging, and you come back up. So it's almost like you're holding your breath until the monsters attack. And it just reminds me of SteamWorld Dig, where you're digging. So this guy just found some gold. So he's gonna dig, and carry a few up with him.
So the monsters aren't underground. The monsters are up top, and you need to defend against the monsters by getting the resources underground.
Yes. So you will take this. He's carrying a lot right now. So when he's going real slow. So you'll get up there, it'll process it, and then do I want to fix the dome? Do I want to make my laser fast? So he's gonna battle some monsters here right now as soon as he's done upgrading here. This person here. But this game here is free right now, Dome Keeper. I guess it used to be called something else, Dome something else. But they changed it to Dome Keeper. They upgraded the graphics. And this game is so addicting as well. So here come the monsters now. Okay, so the meter goes down. Now you go into battle mode. So he's got a nice fast laser, and it's all upgraded. So he's going to start attacking the monsters here. And there we go.
Oh,
So
they come on the ground and they're dark. I see.
Yep. And this is at night. You get different ones. Sometimes you're in the day, and sometimes they fly. And sometimes they launch rocks at you like this guy just did. And so, so you're kind of got one laser here defending the dome. And then you get done, and it makes a little symbol that's all clear. So now he's going to go, and he can't really upgrade anything because he used everything up. He's going to fix the dome and go right back down. He picks up, that's a little water thing that he picks up, makes him go faster. And he's going to go do some more digging. And
that's a clever idea.
So
it's a little bit like
tower
tower defense, but you
Kinda,
have to
sort of,
collect your own resources from in a dig dug way.
Right. Now, there's little in the ground there's these big little relics that you find, and you go up to the top, and they'll give you one of them gives you a chute that goes all the way down to how far you dug, and you just take your resources and throw them in the chute, and they slowly rise to the top. So you've got to carry them up there.
Oh, so you don't have to keep going back and forth.
Yeah, and then there's a teleport that I got too that you can put the teleport wherever you want to put it, and it'll just beam you up and down. So if you're down there digging, oh, there come the monsters, just go to teleport and zips you right up. But it's really fun, and the idea is to go find this one big honking relic, bring it to the top, and that's the one that when they all converge on you, this thing goes up and lights them all up and kills them all. But that's all that the demo does. So I don't know what the regular game is going to do, but Dome Keeper and Project Lazarus, I'm going back and forth between the two, and I'm up. The other night I got home from work, and it's about midnight. I'll play a little bit. 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
It's one of those. You don't keep, like I say, AC Race. The demo is free. The full game's not out yet. It's supposed to be coming out this year, 2022.
Yeah, it looks like he also said that for the Project Lazarus, another one you could check out is called Brotato.
There's a few
Like
of them I've
potato.
seen. There's a lot of these
He also
games.
says 20 minutes till dawn.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. There's a few out there that you're not in a mech. Yeah, this is a Vampire Survivor clone, but Vampire Survivors was like ridiculously fast for me. I was like, oh, I'm kind of lost. But Project Lazarus was very. I love mech games, and I like games that I don't have to do too much. And when you collect enough crystals to upgrade, the game stops. The screen comes up and says, "What would you like to upgrade?" And you click on what you want to upgrade and where you want to put it too. So you can put your flamethrower here, your machine gun here, you can put your orbital strike here, or you can take, I want to upgrade my speed, or I want to upgrade my damage. So but it's all done in a pause screen. So you're not like panicking and hurrying. And then you click it, you're done. It goes right back to the game. And so between the two games, I spent $3 and I've been playing every single night. Holy shit.
Wow, look at you back playing games that aren't board games or tabletop games, sports games.
It's been too hot here to do anything like that.
How has the weather been there? Because
bad.
we had one day. We had one day that was bad, and it was like a month ago. And it's overcast. In fact, it's overcast today. It has been overcast almost every single day.
We've had 90s for about 3 weeks, which is really, really hot for us.
Wow.
We're in a drought. July was our driest, hottest July in 50 years, I think they said. It is. My grass is turned to hay. And that usually happens in August. We'll get a couple weeks in August and everything dies back and whatever. But it's been really bad to a point. We've been canceling hockey. It's been so hot that it's like we just don't want to go and play in the rink. It's just too hot in the rink.
Right.
Yeah, so we've been canceling hockey. It was so bad that last Monday, about 10 in the morning, I was like, oh, it's not that hot out yet. I'm going to take CJ out for a walk. I got him to the end of the street, and he stopped. And he looked at me, and he wouldn't go any further. I'm like, now what do we do? I'm like trying to bring him home. He's like, He goes, I'm done. And I looked at him. He's just like, I was like, wow. I didn't think I had to carry him home. I had to carry this guy home. He's 30-pound dog. I was like, I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe something's wrong with him. He's just overheated. It was just too hot. And I don't walk him when it's hot, but I figured it was early enough. It's like it's only in the 80s right now, but no, it was just so sweltering hot. Yeah, so it's been bad over here. We've done nothing, and even down here in the basement here, I don't have AC here, but it's a basement, and it's got to be 80 degrees down here. It's wicked uncomfortable.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the weather. So we laugh. We laugh with the weather and Ash. Oh, by the way, we just started year 4 of Digital to Dice last week. Imagine that.
Really been
We've done
that
3
long?
years of that, and now we started year 4. We had a big third-year anniversary and our fourth year kickoff show last week. Yeah,
Oh my God, that's crazy.
4 years.
So we had one day here that it was like 97, which we've had 100-degree days. It's not unheard of, but it was really high humidity. It was the most uncomfortable day I have ever had. Twice, I just walked out into my front yard, turned on the hose, and just put the hose over myself. And then just stood there until I wasn't dripping and went back in the house.
Do you have AC?
No, I've never lived in a place with AC.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Nobody in my town has AC. Nick's finally living in a place with AC.
Maybe because you don't have the kind of oppressive heat that we
We
have
don't.
up
Yeah,
here.
no.
Okay.
Just open up a window.
Well, we
That's
didn't
what we
at
have.
first. It's kind of slowly getting to the point where you might want AC, but yeah, like for as long as I've lived here, like never really needed it.
The way it is out here is that so it's so hot. It's like 90 degrees outside, just total humidity, and you're inside the AC, and you open the door to go outside, and you get hit with a wall.
Blast.
It's a wall of and you walk down the steps to get the mail, and you're soaked just doing that, And coming home at night, it's like I come home at 11:30 at night, and it's like 85 degrees out, and you're just like, oh my
And you
God.
know that if it's 85 degrees at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to have another day that's just going to be awful.
And the thing is, we get this in August. This is our August weather now, and but here it is July now. Everything is already burnt and dry, and the house is just so hot right now that it's just it's not going to cool down for another month. So
Mark my words. Mark my word. It is only a matter of time before you start having wildfires.
Oh yeah, if a match went up in my backyard, see ya. It is bad.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
So
it's only a matter of time. I don't know that we can stop climate change at this point. I think that this year was the tipping point when it started to be like, oh shit, it's not just like California that's burning down. It's like everything is burning down. They had wildfires in England.
Yeah.
Did they?
England had wildfires. Spain had wildfires this
I
year.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, they had England. England absolutely had wildfires. That they don't know how to handle those things. At least California, we know wildfires. We've been doing it a lot for many, many years. It's just been really bad the last few years. Yeah,
They had a wildfire on the moon.
They have no infrastructure to handle that. They
They had a
don't
wildfire
have
on the moon.
water drops.
You hear they had a
Burned everything
wildfire?
down.
Wildfire on the moon. Yeah.
They had a wildfire on the moon. It burned down the restaurant.
What?
They had a restaurant on the moon. It got burned down in the wildfire. You didn't hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No, I did not.
The food's really good, but there's just no atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
You are got the best, worst dad jokes. You really do.
I see those once in a while. I was like, oh, I got to share this.
Keep
It's-
sending them to me. Here's a fun fact. My boss loves dad jokes.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally copy and paste your best jokes to him. He thinks I'm a genius.
Yeah, help Edie get a promotion. Give her more bad jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I literally sent one this morning because he has a meeting. He starts every meeting with a dad joke. And I like to, the day before his meeting, give him the dad joke so that he can repeat it. And of course, there it is right there. There's, I don't know if you can read it. There we go. Come on. Oh, let me see.
Oh, you might have. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Oh, a truck full of Vicks Vapor Rub overturned on the highway. There was no congestion for several hours.
And wham, great one. That's what he wrote back. That was one of yours. I just copy pasted it over to him.
I see those once in a while and the different things I do. I was like, oh, this is hilarious, you know?
Yeah, please keep sending them.
Yeah,
it's
those are
doing good.
I like those.
It's definitely making me look good at work. All right.
So,
well,
but,
if we're gonna go into almost our third hour, I am so happy to be doing it because you're there. I miss you, Goalie. God, we miss you so much. ACB says,
I tune in.
I'm AC, but our good AC with a dehumidifier broke.
Yeah.
And
that's rough.
we have a wall of heat going up the stairs, and it's made worse because the bathroom is close enough to make everything humid. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some places, like say you have the AC downstairs, and when you go up to go to bed, it's like you get to that stair, it's like, whew. That's how the hockey rink is, because we have the ice hockey rinks downstairs. There's two of them, but we play upstairs in the roller hockey rink, and you start walking up the stairs, and you get to about stair 8, and it goes from 30, 35 degrees downstairs to 78, and then by the time you get to the top, it's got to be like 85, 90 degrees up top.
You can't do that.
And so you get downstairs to cool off, but it's like it's an ice hockey rink. But when you're upstairs with a metal roof and you're above it all the cool stays down, and you hit that wall going upstairs, and it's like
yeah, it goes to extremes.
Yeah, so we've had to cancel, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, I tune in on Sundays with you guys. I try to catch what I can. Sometimes I can chat, sometimes I didn't. Tonight we were just recording a Patreon only event tonight. Ron and I were doing, so we do an event once a month, and we just for Patreon people only, and we upload it to YouTube or whatever. But,
nice.
so we do that once in a while, but yeah, that's been going pretty well. We've had some fun guests on. We've had authors on of books. That's really fun.
Nice.
We had an author that wrote a book about an 1899 baseball team. And I'm like, how do you even get information about 1899 baseball? And he's just like, yeah, I had to go. What do you have to go to? And he wrote it in the 90s before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he said he was going to the Library of Congress or something like that. What's the big library in Washington? I don't know.
Library of Congress.
Library of Congress. Yeah. And he was going there looking at microfilms and old newspaper clippings, and that's how he did this book. Is the old-fashioned way, the Smith Barney way. You know what I mean? And there was no sitting there on the internet looking up anything. He did it all by hand and calling people and talking to people, and it was really interesting to read his book about baseball in 1899 and how they would have to stop the games short so teams could catch trains to go to the next game.
Oh gosh.
It's like, I know we're in the 7th inning, but we got to catch this last train to, to St. Louis. So game's over, go to the train. So anyway.
So you can there's his channel, Digital Dice. You can find it at Dave Gardner Videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can search my name, Dave Gardner. So
AC Wraith already found it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That was
J.
the
Thomas Hetrick.
Yep, that was the interview we did. J. Thomas Hetrick. We talked 1890. So we had him on the show, and actually we did a live show too. We talked to him for about over an hour about baseball from 1899, and it was kind of fun, So we've had some authors on, some game developers on. We've had people in the community on, just kind of talk about what they're playing, and everyone's got a story to tell, and that's the great thing. Everyone's got a story to tell. How did you get into gaming, and how did you do this, and what are you doing now? And it's fun talking to people. It really is. So we go back and forth between like just me and him talking and having guests on, and it's worked out pretty well. It's been kind of fun. But yeah, I still check in with the GameHounds, and now that I'm playing video games, I figure I better come on and check in. And now that I'm playing some fun games there, when I find something fun, I send it off to you guys. But those 2 games there, Dome Keeper and Product Lazarus, inexpensive as heck, and I've been really, really enjoying them so much. They've been so much fun to play. There's been a couple other things I played, but they weren't quite as fun as those. So those 2 I'm really addicted to.
Mm-hmm.
I like the puzzle games, as in jigsaw puzzles.
Right. Yeah, I remember that you had that was right. I think you've been on and you've talked about some puzzle games.
Yeah, it's like you just move the puzzles and right click to spin them around and try to drop them in place, and you do a puzzle on the computer. It is really, really fun.
Immensely satisfying.
I remember a year ago I played one on the Switch called Glass Masquerade, which was cool because it was like stained glass windows has puzzles.
Oh, the other thing I didn't tell you, I started playing a deck building game.
Oh no!
Really?
Okay.
And I had no idea what deck building was. In fact, we were at PAX East one time, and this guy pulls me aside, and it was on the iPad. He's like, "Hey, how'd you like to check out my deck building game that's on the iPad?" And I'm like, I don't know what a deck building game is. I have no idea what it is. I'll just try it. I'm just
first taste is free.
I'm just I don't know what I'm like. What do you think? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know anything about deck building games. I just at the time I didn't, and so I started playing on Steam this game called Star Realms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very old deck building game, cards and dice that they ported over. In fact, they have a GoFundMe out for the new setup on the cards and dice, and it's a space deck building game. When you start off, and I guess with deck building games is you play the first kind of crappy cards, and you buy stuff and you upgrade your deck, and the idea is to try to get rid of the bad cards in your deck so you only have good cards. And I'm just playing the computer. I'm not even playing the other humans. But Star Realms is a deck building game that does a really good job on Steam. I think the demo was free, and then I think I spent $5 to get it, and I got a couple of the expansions for it. But yeah, so you get different factions on here. You get the yellows and the greens and the blues and the reds, and if you match them up, then you get superpowers. But so there's 5 or 6 cards in a row that you can buy if you can afford it, and you put them in your deck, and then when they come up, you can play the cards. And it's been very relaxing. Although I'm at a point now where I really can't. I'm playing the campaign. I'm kind of stuck. I just can't beat the guy. But it's just fun just sitting there clicking on the things and buying the stuff. Do I want to buy this? Do I want to buy that? Do I want to play this? Do I want to play that? Which card am I going to play next? And so it's a little bit of random with the cards, but it's also some strategy to it as well. But again, there's only so much you can control. If you shuffle and pull out 5 bad cards, you get 5 bad cards. It's like a poker game. But if you pull out 5 good cards and you're laying down 3 green ones and they're stacking the damage up, next thing you know, boom, he's dead. But Star Realms is really fun. That's another one. So I meant to tell you guys that I started playing a deck building game, and I'm looking around.
I can see deck building be something that you'd really like, especially coming from a digital or a dice games. I mean, it's very much the same concepts. But in a digital realm, and then of course, absolutely.
Is this like the beginning of you falling down a rabbit hole of deck builders?
I tried to, because there's another one called Hero Realms, and it's more of a Dungeons and Dragons, old medieval type of setting rather than space. and I got the demo for that, and I did not like it nearly as much as the space one. And this is the newer one, probably because I played the first match. Here's the first match I kind of learned how to play, and the computer opponent just kept drawing a card and healing themselves and healing themselves and healing themselves. And I could only do a little bit of damage at a time because I'm in the early stage, and I'm damaging them for 2 and they heal for 3. I damage for 2, they heal for 3. So we got through like 15 rounds of the game and they were still at full health. I'm like, this is supposed to be the first level of the game to kind of suck me in. And I'm not getting sucked into this game at all. I've done nothing. I've been here for 15 minutes and done absolutely nothing against the computer. So if this is level 1,
yeah,
I don't want to play level 2. So I went back to the space game and, playing that. And it's just fun. And they have tons of expansions you can buy for like $5. Yeah. $5 you can buy, a new set of cards or a new campaign or something like that. And it's just, so I've been playing these relaxing games. I really have. I've been really enjoying kicking my feet up and just mousing along and, or the
you haven't missed
controller.
much on consoles. I mean, in the last 2 years, last year has been really bad. There's only a couple of games. It's because the pandemic fucked all of the development schedules.
Yeah.
Everything got delayed.
But some of these games here, I could see Star Realms, the deck building game on the PS4. I could see Dome Keeper, Project Lazarus. All those would be great games on
Project
PS4.
Lazarus is almost made for a console.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go back and play the SteamWorld Dig. I really like that SteamWorld Dig. I think I even have it on the computer here. I have it on PS4 and the computer. That was a fun game. That really was. That's what reminded me of this Dome Keeper reminds me of. But yeah, so we still don't have the new one. She was just saying the other day, she was like, I should pull out the PlayStation, dust it off, and play something, because we haven't played anything in a long, long time.
There's a lot of good out there. It's all going to be small games. A lot of independent developers. This has been the year of independent developers because there's been huge gaps in the release calendar.
Like if you have the PS4, you could still play most everything that's come out in the past several years because it's.
I think they did for both.
Most stuff is coming. There's only been a couple of games that have been PS5 exclusives.
Yeah, it's only really only a handful.
Yeah. So. Anyway, we're rolling into the third hour. We should probably wrap this up. But Goalie, it was absolutely wonderful to have you here. If you want to find Goalie and his Digital to Dice shows, you can find him by going to YouTube. You can search on Dave Gardner Videos, Gardner. Dave Gardner Videos, and that's where you'll find Digital. Or just do a search on Digital to Dice. You will find his episodes.
This is my dog. If you want to see the picture of it, I shared the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, look at that happy face. Look at that happy face. Oh, my God. Oh my God, that's adorable.
Yeah, and there's
How could she not want that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
there she is, right there, sitting on the window.
She's
so
adorable.
small.
What a good girl.
Yep, and there's the picture of CJ. That's Sharon pulling in, and CJ and Mimi looking out. Here they come.
How do they get along?
They tolerate each other.
Okay. Hey,
CJ's fine with small dogs. He doesn't like big dogs. He gets aggressive with big dogs because he was attacked when he was younger. So he's very fearful of big dogs. Small dogs, he doesn't care. Once in a while, if there's food out or if we're patting him and she comes in the room, he gives her a growl. But there's been no issues,
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so he's fine with small dogs. But
so I will show you something before we end the show. Actually, we'll do it at the end of it. Let's end the show, and I have one thing to show you, Goalie. Okay. Because this is not something that's going to translate over on the audio show. So let me go to the right music. I'm getting new and now used to this stuff. Oh God.
That sound translates.
Yeah, it does.
It's my orange vanilla polar seltzer.
Seltzer.
That's all I drink now. Is seltzer. That's all I drink is seltzer.
I've never heard of polar.
It's in Worcester, Mass.
Yeah,
and I get all the flavors: orange, vanilla, raspberry, lime. Oh, they're so good. They really are.
All right, so can we close out the show and then we can close out the video show? All right.
I mean, we could also talk about seltzer.
Nick, no, please.
Oh no,
please! I have to pee.
Spindrift is the best.
Let's close this out.
I peed while we were talking. So.
In the other open can.
You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 647. We recorded this on Sunday, July 31st, 2022. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola and Holy Gully. If you ever want to get a hold of us, GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record the show live at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. On Facebook and YouTube, Facebook and Twitch, we are the GameHounds. On YouTube, we're GameHounds Vids. All one word. GameHounds Vids as in videos, VIDS. We do have a Discord. Please check out our Facebook page. On the top of our Facebook page, that's where our link to our Discord is, and I'm going to try to remember to start putting it in the description of our YouTube and our Twitch videos. Please join our Discord. We would love to have you there. You get announcements of when we're about to go live. There's lots of people discussing stuff, talking about shows, talking about video games. That's where I announce when I'm just about to go streaming with my Crusader Kings. Whatever. Just check it out. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. Were it not for you, this would not exist. This is all you. So you are legends. Thank you so much. And if you want to become a patron, look us up on patreon.com/GameHounds. $1 a month is all we ask to keep the lights on here. Not here. I can keep my own lights on, but just here. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
The last time I was on here, I was burning toilet paper rolls. Remember the toilet paper shortage?
Yep.
I don't remember
that.
I had the toilet paper on here, but
don't.
no one could find toilet paper. And I think I was like pretending to burn it.
All right, let me end the actual audio show and save it so that I can not lose it. What's the episode is? Oh, God, it is so large. It's beach balling my machine. Oh, please don't crash. 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 Okay.
All right.
Oh, I heard. Oh, did I? I think I heard. Yeah, 647.
Mm-hmm.
GH 647 raw. Okay. Save, please save, please save, please save. No, do not go there. Save. Just save it. Okay, thank God. That was dicey. Yeah, that's a long show. Really. And of course, my dogs know the sound of when we sign off. They know like literally, a dog is like moving around back here. You can see her. Mia, are you moving around? Yep. She's down there. Because she knows. She's.
We can see her.
Yeah. She knows.
Yep.
I said, thank you for listening to GameHounds. And now she's like.
Sounds like when you get on the phone, you'll
potty
start
time.
barking.
So I will show you something that you need. My neighbor bought one, and I can't buy it because I have Victorian sills on my windows, which come out and then, out and back in. But let me show you something that could very much change your life. One of the things about wall air conditioners is that you usually have to mount them and make sure, because you can't just hang it out the window and right? Let me show you something. How did I not think about that? You just hang it over the sill. You don't have to mount it. You don't have to do anything. You just hang it over the sill.
Oh, wow.
And then when at the end of the season, you can actually take it out, put it in the garage, close your window
I'm trying to think
for
if
the
I can
winter
get
time.
that down here, somehow in the basement.
Yeah.
We have the AC upstairs, and even in the bed, we have the ones up, the split units type of thing.
Right.
We put those in years ago. But this I like it. This, yeah.
So is it
It's nice that it doesn't. Yeah, it's U-shaped, so it actually fits
okay.
over the windowsill, so you don't have to do all
normally
this.
that whole thing would go in the window.
Right, that you
Okay,
actually
and you
have
have to prop it up on the outside.
prop it up on the outside, or you have to build some kind of mounting. And if you want it up on the top with the
That's
window,
what we used to have, and we would take one of those and stuff it in the window, and then you have to take wood and duct tape it all off.
Right.
So
Or
back in the
you'd
day.
stick it in the window, and you have to create the hole around it so it doesn't, because it's never as wide as your window. And then you've got to use I've got one. Kevin did one in his room, and it's up on milk crates on the backside on the outside of the house.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get them to balance just right, and other times you do got to put
Yeah,
a support.
but this one, I mean, it's
Yeah.
genius.
No,
How did I
that's-
not think of that? Genius. So
It's what's weird is usually the air conditioners are so heavy because of just the whole cooling unit on the inside. It's like a washing machine heavy, you know.
it is.
So
It is.
I don't know. Maybe the new technology that doesn't look like. I don't. That's so thin. I'm trying to think how would they even get that to? That's like 25%. It's usually this deep. So they're going to take it and make it this deep. That's kind of weird.
Let me see. Well, I mean, let's see. The most of it is outside. Here, I'll show you. Most of it is outside. So
I see. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's that big ass.
Oh,
unit.
so we were looking at the outside.
You were looking at the inside. When you were looking here, there was just
Oh.
the inside, and it just hangs over the
Okay.
windowsill.
That's the outside.
Okay, yeah. No, you're looking at the inside. The outside is that.
There's
There
the
you go,
outside,
yeah. Yeah, so the big honking part's outside. Okay, I see that.
and that's how it's built.
Oh.
Oh, see?
Yeah, no, that's very interesting.
So
yeah.
you can just hang it. You instantly install it. All you have to do is plug it in.
Oh, AC Ray says there are also ones that are shaped like an N. So flip this upside down.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But yeah, you just hang it over the windowsill. And then
That's-
at the end of the season, when you don't want to have a window open because you permanently installed up, like created mounts and screwed stuff in order to support a normal one, the one that actually have to mount in the window, you can actually just pick it up, take it out, put it in the garage for the season, and then you only have to haul it out next summer.
Yeah, no, that's better than the big bulky things there. And but what it basically does, it just gives you more window to look out of. It doesn't sit in the whole window and take up 15 inches of window space.
And
It
it's
takes up-
instantly installable.
Oh, yeah,
you
you
don't
just
have
drop it
to
in.
don't have to do like support the backside and creating little shelves
the
for
weight
it
is
to go
probably
on.
evenly distributed there.
Weight is evenly distributed. Yep.
No, that's a great idea.
So yeah, there's my quick tip for you.
No, I like that. I do.
So I can move that. They're not cheap, but you can get with the amount of hassle that you're avoiding having to install it into your window and it becomes a permanent fixture in your house. That's priceless.
Oh yeah. No, I should look into that. See, upstairs I think we're okay, but if I could find a way to put that
So
downstairs.
why can't you use them, Edie? Because your sills go out and in. Why would that matter?
I guess I could. I didn't realize because I was looking at this and my sills are. I actually, if you look at this way that's mounted there, that's sort of what my sills look like, except they have a ledge on both outside and inside. So it has a ledge for the sill, and then it kind of goes down that way because it's Victorian.
Okay,
But it
yeah,
looks like it might
if this
actually fit.
Yeah, if this just plops on top.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess,
true.
the
It's
only
wide
issue is
enough.
If your sill
It's
that's
definitely
actually a
wide enough.
fantastic idea, especially if you're on like the third floor or something like that.
Right.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
How do you,
Right.
Because a lot of times, if you put them in and you got to tilt them just a little bit of an angle, so any water will run outside. So you see people like that, just a little bit of an angle. But the thing is, they're so heavy that when you get them in the window and you try to bring down the window behind it so it'll catch, they fall out. If you don't catch it, they fall out. you
Right.
know?
If they fall out off of a third floor story window,
man,
you can kill somebody.
jeepers, yeah.
Yep. So that's my
That's interesting. Yeah, the
my
stuff
tip
they've
for
come
you.
up with is unbelievable. It really is.
because this July is not the last July you're going to have. It's going
Yeah.
to be it's going to increasingly become the standard summer, not the outlier.
Well, we'll find out. That's all we can do.
I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, this year is not looking good. And curiously enough, we have not had that many wildfires. We have one right now,
Yeah.
but we're July, and we've had two major ones. But everything else has been fairly quickly contained because we got a new capability. We got a helicopter, Apache. I think it's an Apache helicopter.
Oh, nice.
That is, they've converted over to dumping water, and it's got night vision. It's night capable. Because previously you can't dump water after a certain hour because it's unsafe to fly. They can't, get in low to dump the water and come out. But now they can actually do night flying with the helicopter, and it really makes a difference.
Now you just jinx us all.
Yeah,
I thought it was an Apache had these huge squirt guns.
When you said that, I was thinking the same thing. It's like water missiles.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Down the street, it's just like, fuck this guy.
Throw water balloons.
This guy's having a birthday party in his backyard. Fuck these guys. hit him with the hoses.
They do make water balloon missiles, by the way. They do make water balloon shooters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that makes
sense. They're all kinds of fun. All right, everyone, if you're still listening, the 4 people who are listening, thank you for sticking around. We do appreciate it. We will be back next week. I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you guys have missed a lot of weeks, huh?
2 weeks. I was up in.
I saw that you were at the farm or something like that, right?
Yeah, no, I was I
Ranch?
went up to the mountains, just like an Airbnb up in the mountains, away from people for a week for Kevin's death anniversary because I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to remember. I just wanted to get over it. And then I was down with my family in the ranch for last weekend, so it was 2 weekends off. Which is, I think it's been a really long time since we've had 2 weekends off.
Yeah.
So, yes, dog. All right. We gotta go potty.
You go do your thing. I gotta go play some Dome Keeper.
Thanks everyone for
I've
listening.
got both those in my Steam cart now.
We'll see you next week. Bye.